Dragon Ball Apprentice Angel Chapter 161-180. Chapter 161 I'm Cowardly. Vegeta dozing. Beat everyone. What are you kidding? Others are easier to deal with, but that guy named Bardock has practiced for 1,000 years. Unfair. How to fight this? After a brief silence. HMPH, although I can't transform into the second-tier Super Saiyan you mentioned, but I have been practicing hard for a year, and I will definitely lose to that kid, Gohan-san. Vegeta grunted, but I admit, if Bardock were to play, I wouldn't be his opponent. You can rest assured that Bardock does not participate. Roger Dow _. Since Bardock doesn't compete, I don't think I have a problem with winning the championship. Vegeta responded cheerfully. Go, inform everyone, go to the world's first martial arts conference. After Roger finished speaking, it was so boring to kick Vegeta away. Roger looked up at the sky. Since Vados also lost the game last time, no other angels have come to gamble with him. This time, if you don't gamble, you won't gamble. There are still 3 years left in the agreement with Clute and Sabe. Sun Wukong has almost completed his experience in heaven and hell, and it is time to take time to teach him well. Why didn't Roger teach Sun Wukong ahead of time? Teaching in advance, Roger thinks, maybe Clute and Sabe know the power of Sun Wukong, and then they stop playing. Although not playing, Roger can also go to the core of the two universes, but then there is no fun at all. Roger has to leave Sabe and Crut with a mentality that can challenge and have a full grasp of winning, and then let them lose the game. It will be more exciting. If there is no game yet, he will admit to his cowardice. Who will Roger turn to get rid of his troubles? In addition, as an angel, Roger realized that if human beings do not accumulate enough, it is difficult to grasp the ultimate meaning of freedom. Up to now, although Sun Wukong's aptitude can master the ultimate freedom, he will definitely be able to exert his powerful skills and transformation. It took a long period of experience to achieve the powerful effect. After Raleigh arrived on Earth, he broke through himself again and again in battle, and that was also because of his 40 years of accumulation and experience on the planet Wampa. Let alone a human being, it is an angel, and Roger, who also needs experience, refines the power of an angel, controls the power of an angel, and breeds the realm of true gods. It does not mean that if you are a god, you don't need to practice, and you can go directly to the throne. Of course, Roger counts the time. Sun Wukong will experience the Demon Buu incident again, and then he will kick Beerus up and challenge Beerus, and he will have a qualitative leap. If nothing else, it's not a big problem to become a Super Saiyan god, but Roger finds it so boring. Roger thought for a while, took his scepter, and dialed Clute's phone. Clute, what have you been up to lately? Asked Roger. What else can you be busy with? It is nothing more than condensing the realm of true gods and consuming the power of angels. Crut replied indifferently. How much angelic power do you have left? Roger asked again. Do not know. Crut looks cold. Clute, you can't have a good chat like this. Roger sighed. Clute rolled his eyes. I don't have a good chat with you. Call me, sure enough to stimulate me again. I'd rather not be fooled. By the way, you said, after 3 years, our game still counts. Roger suddenly asked. Roger, what do you mean? Crut frowned. Can I retire? Roger asked again. Retirement counts as a waiver, abstention counts as a loss. If you lose, do you know what to do? Ket hurriedly said, for fear that Luo had spied on Sun Wukong in the past few years. To deal with a guy like Shalu, Sun Wukong is dead, and the poor are really weak. If Jiren deals with Sha, it is estimated that a fart can kill the bug to Sha. Is there a rule? Why can't I remember? Roger scratched his head. And don't believe me, ask Sabe. Keshet replied. By the way, how much do you have in the realm of true gods? Have you crossed the hurdle of 199? Roger changed the subject and Crut hung up the phone. Can we have a good chat? Do you really think the hurdle of 199 is easy to pass? Like your pervert. 299 passed in a single leap, and Kate was heartbroken. The moment he hung up Roger's call, he felt so happy asking for flowers. Kazent was happy, and found that the scepter vibrated again and Krut responded, or Krut, who called Roger, gritted his teeth and answered Roger's call. What else is going on? Roger asked Kurt. Recently, a terrifying monster has appeared on the Earth in the 7th universe, where I am. Would you like to come and have a look? Roger asked. Roger, we are angels, what kind of monster can be scary? Kurt shook his head, I'm not going. I've been very busy lately, please help. Roger suddenly felt that there was nothing to talk about with Clute. This guy is getting boring. Roger just hung up the phone. After thinking about it, Roger called Sabe again. As a result, Sabe is very shrewd. Zuo Yi has no intention of coming to the 7th universe. In addition, what makes Roger speechless is that Sabe is also crossing the threshold of 199, which is so pitiful. Bored, Roger called Wes again. Wes, a guy named Majin Buu is about to be born. It is said that the great realm king god of our universe spent a lot of divine power to seal him. Now he is coming out soon, do you want to come over and take a look? Roger said to Weiss and said silence for a moment. It was Mara who was sealed by the great king of the world, not Buu the Kasumi. Weiss corrected me, I made a mistake, just to see if you were listening. Roger laughed. Weiss. Wes, come to Earth and play. Roger invited. Hey, Roger, who has been very busy recently, can't go, next time. Weiss shook his head and didn't want to win back the scepter. Asked Roger directly. I still keep your scepter on purpose. It hasn't been completely turned into a school set, and it can be changed back. If you don't take it back, it will really become the equipment of my new universe god of destruction. Roger said. Whoa, it's okay. Weiss smiled, but the pained expression on his face was very good, I know. Roger nodded, terminated the call with Weiss. Roger raised his head and sighed, why didn't he come to play? Am I so scary? You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 162 The Great Priest and the Tree. Roger called Myers again. Roger, do you know how many times I've been beaten in the past few years? Don't provoke me in the future, I don't want to be beaten again. It's fine, you are an angel and you can't die. Sui Jia comforted me. Myers. Are you so comforting? What are you busy with recently? Come to play. Roger rode. Not going, thank you. Myers smiled wryly. I'm not fooled. If I go here, what will I lose? Resolutely not going. Although it's very close to the Earth, I just don't go to Roger and hang up. What are these guys doing? Roger thought for a while, then went to check Vados's phone again. After a full 10 seconds, Vados answered the phone. Bah, 400 inches DOS, have you missed me recently? Roger asked with a smile. Roger, don't make trouble, just say anything. Vados is taking a risky approach, aren't you monitoring me? Don't you know what happened on my side recently? Roger asked. Roger, you may have misunderstood, I didn't monitor you. Vados denial, I have a lot of things to do, how can I watch you when I have nothing to do? Years ago, who was feeding to marry me? Roger asked again. It's me, it's me. After a voice was uploaded from Vados' new scepter, Roger saw Ruosi's beautiful face. Vados cover. Roger looked up at the sky. Look, the weather is fine today. Roger quickly changed the subject. Roger, I think you misunderstood. It was my scepter that said I wanted to marry you, not me. Don't think about it too much. It is more appropriate to be clear, so as not to really misunderstand your scepter. Roger was stunned. Yes, my scepter has been preserved for thousands of years, and I have discovered a few years ago that wisdom may be born, but there is always something missing. Maybe you want to transform her. She was scared by you and turned on her intelligence in advance. You have to be nice to her. Vados snickered. Of course, if you have a scepter, I have no opinion. Do you think I am the Great Shrine? What does Roger mean by glaring at Vados? Vados is puzzled. The story of the Great Priest and the Tree is a long story. Roger nodded in frustration. You are so imaginative. By the way, a terrible monster is about to be born on the earth. Do you want to come and play? Roger made a mortal saying I'm going. Joss yelled. You, play while you go. Vados reprimands. Is this how putting Ruosi under house arrest? Roger was a little bit tricky with her. He knew that he would cause trouble, and my father wouldn't let her go out. Vados smiled. It's not a secret and he just said it out. Vados, are you really not considering marrying me? Roger asked again whether to consider it. Vados shouted angrily. Ruosi, I prefer your sister. I really can't fall in love with two people at the same time, and it's impossible to marry both of you at the same time. Roger was in a dilemma. I hope you can understand my difficulties. You dream. Ross and Vados shouted loudly. Then, Vados cut off the call with Roger. Roger scratches his head. Am I going a little too far? The two sisters, won't they fight because of themselves? Roger then took out Vados' scepter. Since Roger took out the scepter last time, a head of Vados appeared on the scepter, saying that if he wanted to marry him, he would let Roger stuff it into a different room. After a full year, Roger took it out again. Vados' scepter has no life response, similar to other scepters. Roger patted the crystal ball of the scepter. Come on, stop pretending, wake up quickly, I know you are born with wisdom. Roger hummed at the top of the scepter, and a face resembling Vados immediately appeared. The other snorted and gave Roger a roll of eyes. What's your attitude? Forget it, I'll make you a table, I just need a table to eat. Roger held his chin and pondered. The scepter shivered, his face changed color. You dare. The scepter glares at Roger. See if I dare. Roger's team rubbed their hands and looked like they were about to do it, and the scepter cried at that moment, and burst into tears. Woohoo, I don't want. The scepter shouted loudly. Just then Bulma came over. Bulma looked at the head on the scepter, and then looked at Roger. Suji was almost surprised. You wouldn't treat the scepter, Bulma exclaimed. What are you thinking? Roger wants to throw Bulma out of the galaxy, that's outrageous. What can I do with the scepter? How did the scepter speak? Is this Vados? Asked Bulma. My name is not Vados, my name is Duoer. I am Vados' scepter that has been cultivated for thousands of years, and I gave birth to my own thoughts and wisdom. Wooming. I don't want to become a table. Bulma, you are a good person. Please help me to plead with the scepter and watch Bulma beg for mercy. Haha, don't worry, Roger is not that kind of person. Bulma laughed and stepped forward to comfort him. Don't hurt to hear Bulma say this. The scepter is a little more at ease, right? Your name doesn't sound good. I'll call you a table in the future. You don't object, right? Roger pondered and said wow. Duoer cried again. Roger, don't scare her off. Bulma's helpless face. This table, still want his wife to marry me. Are you saying it's not hateful? Roger shouted angrily. Bulma wipes sweat. You have a scepter, you want to marry a Roger. You are so good at joking. If you are interested, you will immediately transform into a set of women's clothes, wear it on Bulma's body, and protect her all the time. I will not let you make a table. Roger shouted and thought about it. Turning into clothes is better than being a table, right? Also, it's better to be with Bulma than to be with a horrible guy like Roger. Duoer released a flame of light, which exploded Bulma's clothes. Bulma. You turn into clothes first, and then explode my clothes. You let me show me in front of Roger without reservation. You mean, Duoer quickly incarnates into Bulma's underwear. No, it's not completely underwear. It can be said that all the clothes on Bulma's body are amazing. And the clothes are so comfortable. Bulma was pleasantly surprised. Roger glared at Bulma. Can it be amazing? This is the scepter that Vados has cultivated for thousands of years. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 163. Bulma, you can walk sideways on the earth. After eating and drinking at Bulma's house for so many years, this is the most precious gift for her. Roger has nothing to feel distressed about. The scepter is gone, you can get it again. But the relationship with Bulma is unique. Moreover, his treasure, one day, when the time is ripe, it will still come back. By the way, is there only one style? Bulma looked in the mirror and felt that the style of the clothes was not very good looking and could be changed at will. Roger said. Is it right? Do-er, the hemp locks you. Bulma said no trouble to do-er. Doll has spoken. Do-er feels that his choice is right. It becomes Bulma's clothes, and it's still very comfortable to stick with Bulma. Anyway, it's better than a table, right? 2 hours later. This one, do-er, quickly turn it into this one and let me see it again. Bulma pointed to the clothes on the magazine. Roger, can I be the desk? I've changed my clothes 1189 times, on average every 10 seconds, and do-er is about to cry. Human woman, you are enough. Ah, unconsciously so many times. Bulma didn't think that her 15 requirements were so excessive that you reacted. Table, are you sure you want to follow Bulma later? Roger asked for certainty and certainty. Do-er hurriedly replied. I just said that I want to become a table, but I just said casually, do-er thinks that it is more suitable to be clothes. Since you are sure, then I will not force you. From now on, you will be responsible for protecting Bulma. Hello, Roger. Do-er responded quickly. So, can I fly? Bulma thought about it and asked to turn into wings. Doll responded immediately. Immediately, behind Bulma, a pair of pure white feathers moved slightly, and Bulma floated slightly. Wow, that's great, I can fly 1 inch. Bulma is so excited. Suji laughs. Bulma is happy. By the way, Roger, what level of defense can I achieve with this outfit on? Bulma asked. Or, what about combat power? Unfortunately, it would be good if there were detectors. Originally, the Angel's Scepter can only provide defense bonuses. Your defense is too low, only 1, and 1000 times the bonus is 1000. Useful, not big. Roger said. However, the table has self-awareness, the defense is not so simple. Now the defense of the table, let's say, you can walk sideways on the earth, what about my combat power? Bulma asked. The ability to fight. It's not good to walk sideways, but if you cooperate with the table well, it's not a big problem to surpass Gohan. Roger pondered. The premise is that the table has to be stronger, really. Or should I also go to the world's #1 martial arts conference? Bulma is whimsical. But soon, Bulma shook her head and lost interest. Bulma thinks that this kind of fighting is meaningless. Her greatest pleasure is to change clothes into various styles, so that they can be feminine. Do-er, I'm sorry to think about it, but the purple dress just now looks better. Bulma greeted Do-er. You're so kind, the clothes you've transformed into have their own thermal function, so that I can wear skirts all year round. Baozishan. Vegeta kicked Son Gohan, who was hunting outside, to the ground with one kick. Son Gohan was about to get angry and burst out with his own powerful energy. After reaching Vegeta, he immediately died. Sun Wukong, even if the earth is at peace, don't forget to practice. Your movements are so unfamiliar that you didn't even notice my sneak attack. If I were your servant, you would be dead long ago. Vegeta looked at Son Gohan coldly and Son Gohan got up from the ground and patted the dust on his body. Uncle Vegeta, I have to go to school. My ideal is to be a scholar, I don't like fighting. Sun Wukong shook his head and smiled wryly. Give me less waste. A month later, the world's #1 martial arts conference will officially open, and you must attend. Vegeta said. At the same time, you immediately contact everyone and ask them to participate in the competition for me too. The world's first martial arts conference. Sun Wukong's expression froze, and he asked, are you also participating? Good. Vegeta nodded. I'm not your opponent, unless you don't become a giant ape. Sun Wukong is holding you back. If you turn into a giant ape, how can I fight? Normality has been directly turned 500 times. How shameless. How can I double it only 100 times? This day is over. Besides, you have become a giant ape. Do you think it is suitable for you to be on the top of the world's first martial arts conference? Sun Wukong suddenly lost interest. To be fair, of course I won't turn into a giant ape, you can rest assured. Vegeta snorted, and I wanted to become a giant ape, but unfortunately I don't have the hateful Roger on my tail. Okay, I'll participate. Son Gohan nodded. I want to participate too. At this moment, only a voice was heard from the sky, Kakarot. Vegeta's spirit is shaken. Dad. Is that Dad? Sun Wukong looked around, and there were surprises written all over it. It was me, Gohan, and Vegeta. Sun Wukong's voice came over. I want to participate in the world's #1 martial arts conference. I have been practicing seriously in this world. 180-year time is great, Kakarot, we can compete with each other. Vegeta smiled slightly. Vegeta, are you sure you won't turn into a giant ape? Sun Wuxi asked. Of course, becoming a giant ape is meaningless. Vegeta smiled. That's fine, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Sun Wukong smiled, and then said to Gohan, Gohan, did Roger say there is a way to resurrect me a year ago? You go to him, Yi Zhao, and I will be resurrected. The King of Kings winked at Sun Wukong. And me. I want to be resurrected too. Lord Realm, can you be quiet? I'm talking about something important. Sun Wukong was stunned for a while, and said something to the king, and then said to Gohan, that's it, Gohan, we will meet Kakarot soon, I will let you know, sigh the power of the Demihuman royal family. Vegeta terminated the call with endless self-monkey on his eyelids. Sora, have you forgotten something? What did the real king ask in danger? What did he forget? Sun Wukong scratched his head. I want to be resurrected too. The king stared. Bright. Well, I really forgot, but it doesn't matter. When Roger goes to Namek to fulfill his wish, let the dragon also bring you back to life. Sun Wukong laughed. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 164 Bardock, Master will resurrect Kakarots. Wukong is afraid that Roger will revive you without going through the dragon. The Realm King sighed and muttered softly. Lord Realm, what are you talking about? Sun Wukong curiously asked if it's okay. I mean Goku, Vegeta's tail seems to be gone. Kai Wang whispered to Sun Wukong, there is no way for Beijipei to become a giant ape. I saw it too, it's a pity, I still want to have a good fight with his giant ape form. Sun Wukong is a little lost. Don't be brave, Goku. The king scolded, although you can become a third-tier Super Saiyan, you have a huge disadvantage compared to Beijipei's giant ape. It's a pity, is there any other way? Sun Wukong held his chin and pondered, and he didn't know whether he was pity that Vegeta couldn't turn into a giant ape, or that his Super 3 couldn't beat Vegeta. Sun Wukong was also thinking about what his father said at this time. Is there a way for Roger to resurrect Dad? What can Roger do? Even Shenlong couldn't revive Dad. However, Dad said so, there should be a way, right? Gohan is only 10 years old now, and his mind is not mature enough. He scratches his head and suddenly thinks of his grandfather Bada. Gram. By the way, didn't Grandpa say that? His master can resurrect Dad, how could I go to Grandpa, why should I go to Roger? With a happy expression on Sun Wukong's face, he said to Vegeta, Uncle Vegeta, then I'm leaving. I'll inform Uncle Pick and the others, and let them also participate in the martial arts tournament. Vegeta ignored it and turned around. Flew away. Vegeta decided to use this month to practice hard and make herself better. If she was really defeated, it would be a bit embarrassing. And, if it does fail, Vegeta thinks Roger will fix his own Noodle Valley. It is said that this valley is very similar to the Trousers Noodle, so it was named so that there is a small house in the Noodle Valley, which is Bardock's home. Sun Wukong has been here 3 times this year. Bai Wan's blood is thicker than water, and the family relationship with Bardock and Jain has gradually been established. Sun Wukong was well versed and came to Bardock's house. Is Kakarot coming back to life? That's great. Jain was a little excited, I can finally see him. Gohan, I'll go to the master and ask him to resurrect your father. Bardock smiled slightly. Shall I go with Grandpa? Son Gohan was also a little excited. Dad is about to be resurrected, so Mom will be very happy, right? No, it's not good if there are too many people. I'll be back when I go. Bardock patted Son Gohan on the shoulder and said, Grandpa, the world's #1 martial arts tournament, won't you participate? Son Gohan asked casually, although Grandpa's strength is average, I want to defeat Uncle Krillin and Uncle Tianjin Fan. They are not a big problem, right? I'm not participating. Bardock smiled. I also want to participate. But the master won't let me participate. So sad. I attended. Raditz smiled. Remember to sign me up, kid. To sign up you go. Son Gohan is too lazy to pay attention to this kid Raditz. Raditz also glared at Son Gohan. Bardock turned into a white on and flew towards Bulma's house. It's more appropriate to talk about this kind of thing in person. It's impolite to make a phone call. 7. You said that we spend the whole day with these wild animals, is it interesting? Number 18 looked at number 17 angrily. I thought it was interesting, why don't you like it? Number 17 smiled. Boring guy. Number 18 shook his head. I need money, I want to buy things, buy new clothes. Shopping is the most boring thing for me to do. Number 17 can't understand why women like shopping. Also, new clothes. Isn't it enough to have this outfit? Interested in switching. By the way, if you really need money, you can ask Bulma to ask for it. Isn't their family the first in the world? 17 smiled and proposed. I can't afford to lose that man. Number 18 black eyelid rode. If you can't, go grab it. Number 17 smiled. Anyway, Bulma's house has money. If you grab a little bit, you shouldn't be beaten to death. Number 18 stared at him. Do you really dare to think? Don't you know that God is in Bulma's house? That's not good, that's not good either. Number 17 shook his head. Anyway, I don't have money. My salary as a wildlife manager is not high. I can barely support myself. Humph. Number 18 grunted. By the way, you can go to the world's #1 martial arts conference, and the top 5 will get a bonus. Number 17 proposes the world's #1 martial arts conference. What are you doing? Number 18 asked about a conference in the form of sparring that was held a long time ago. Sha's previous conference was held 10 years ago, right? I don't know exactly how many years ago. It was Sun Wukong and Piccolo competing for the championship, and Sun Wukong finally won the final victory. Number 17 pondered and said that at that conference, Piccolo destroyed the arena and terrified ordinary people, and the martial arts conference was cancelled because of this. But I don't know how to describe it this year. It may be because of Sandlu. Let's start the martial arts conference again. How much is the bonus? On the 18th, his heart moved, and he quickly asked. 10 million for the champion, 5 million for the runner-up, 3 million for the third, 2 million for the fourth, and 1 million for the fifth. Number 17 smiles. The fifth place is enough for you to spend half a year. 1.5 million years. Not enough. Number 18 shook his head. The coin of the Dragon Ball world, 1 million is equivalent to about 60,000 and 60,000 yuan for half a year in our country. For the 18th, it is indeed not enough. Since I want to participate, I have to find a way to get the first. 18 Shenyin Road. In fact, the number 1 is not necessarily hopeless. This little Sharu often came to harass us, but our strength has improved a lot. Smile on the 17th. How about you? Not participating? Asked Tile on the 18th. I can't go away, we are all gone, who will take care of those little animals? Number 17 lamented that if only number 16 was alive. Number 18 has a long-term vision. Who said no? Unfortunately the dragon you mentioned can't resurrect a robot, right? Number 17's look dimmed slightly down Bulma's home. Revive Sun Wukong now. Roger looked at Bardock and asked. Yes, Master, Kakarot is going to participate in the world's #1 martial arts conference in a month. Bardock nodded. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 165 Roger, are you also participating in the martial arts conference? In fact, cultivating in the kingdom of heaven will lead to greater progress, Roger said. Bardock was puzzled. Think about it, if Wukong is resurrected and comes back, can his wife Chi-Chi let him practice well? Roger asked, it's better to be in the kingdom of heaven now, except that cultivation is cultivation, and there is no need to eat. The master said that. Bardock thinks what Roger said is right, don't rush to resurrect, it's been a year, and it's not less than a month. When the time comes, let Granny Crystal bring him back from the kingdom of heaven, and then I will resurrect him, said Roger. Granny Crystal. Bardock was stunned. She can bring the dead from the underworld to the world for a day. Roger said. Ha ha, the earth is still hiding dragons and crouching tigers. Bardock sneered. This time the world's #1 martial arts conference is getting more and more interesting. Roger smiled slightly. Then, Master, it's nothing to do. I'll go back first. Bardock bowed and said goodbye. Jia nodded. Bardock turned into a white on and quickly disappeared. Roger, in fact, Wukong's wife may not agree to let Wukong practice well, and it would be better if he resurrected earlier. When Bulma saw Bardock leave, he casually said that Goku would not be resurrected, mainly because I was lazy. Roger sighed. Cloth 873 Irma. It takes at least 5 minutes to fly from here to the underworld, and then have to bring Wukong back. So annoying. Roger shook his head. It's better to wait for Grandma Shuopan to bring Wukong's soul to Earth, and then directly resurrect him to save trouble. Bulma stopped talking. How cool are you? It's only 10 minutes back and forth, and you don't even bother to move. Roger, will you continue to look for other angels to bet on this world's #1 martial arts conference? Bulma asked me that I had too much fun and they didn't dare to play with me. Roger one's troubles would have been less of a win if he had known. Now the wool is clean. So lonely. Are they cowardly? Bulma smiled bitterly. I thought the angels had eternal beliefs. That's all. This time I plan to participate in the competition and join in the fun. Roger mused. Bright. Roger, if you go up to the competition, your opponent will need it. Bulma thinks someone is going to be out of luck. Anyone who draws Roger will probably be beaten to death. Sometimes, luck is also a part of strength. Roger laughed so hard. How could it be so difficult to meet the youngest son Kakarot? Son Gohan also lowered his head. However, since I have waited for a year, waiting for another month is nothing. Besides waiting silently, what else can we do? Gohan, you haven't practiced much this year, have you? Your body looks rusty. You better not go to school this month, and stay at home to cultivate and cultivate. Bardock looked at Gohan and said. Well, Uncle Vegeta also said the same. It seems that I have to practice hard. Son Wufan nodded. By the way, I have to go to Uncle Keelan and Uncle Piccolo, and tell him about the world's #1 martial arts conference. Bardock nodded. Oh, Son Wukong is coming back to participate in the world's first martial arts conference. Interesting. Piccolo smiled. No problem, I'll take part. Son Gohan knows. But Gohan, you've been going to school lately, haven't you? You have to practice hard, or your body will get rusty and slap Gohan on the head. Yes, Uncle Bick. Turtle Fairy's home. Wukong is coming back to participate in the world's first martial arts conference. That's great, but if Gohan, Piccolo, and Pei Gungan all participate, I have no hope of winning. Krillin hesitated. There are prizes for the top 5. Son Gohan replied. Well, I am participating. Keelan, forget it, it shouldn't be a problem for me to keep the top 5. I also want to participate. Turtle Immortal muttered to the side. By the way, what about Uncle Keelan, Uncle Tianjin Fan and Uncle Leping? Did not sense their breath. Son Wufan doesn't know where they went, and I can't find it either. Keelan scratched his head and then forget it. Son Wuhan feels that it doesn't matter whether the two of them participate or not, and can't find anyone. What can I do? Why hasn't it been resurrected yet? Son Wukong looked at the golden halo floating on his head, and his face was not so fast, was he? Jia Wang said with a wry smile. I will ask again. Sun Wukong proposes. Sun Wukong hurriedly asked Gohan about his resurrection through Kaiwang. Sun Wufan immediately said that the situation here is a headache, so I will practice here. Sun Wukong's character is relatively gentle, and there is nothing to worry about. Time passes day by day. The day of the world's first martial arts conference is getting closer and closer. Everyone is practicing hard. Roger didn't practice. He drank coffee every day, sips fine wine, and enjoyed the beautiful life on Earth. Roger, are you ready to enter the race? Bulma asked. It will officially start in a few days and not participating. It's boring, but I can find someone to stimulate them. Roger's adventure with endless smiles. Who are you looking for? Bulma asked, puzzled. Well, it's time for me to go. Roger smiled. After Roger finished speaking, he turned into a colorful flame and disappeared in a flash. The colorful flames swept across the Earth, and quickly rushed to a spaceship hidden in the depths of the Earth. I heard that tomorrow will be the world's first martial arts conference on this planet. At that time, all the powerhouses on the planet will be Yunji. The two of you go to the competition venue and take the opportunity to absorb some energy and come back. Buffety stood at the bottom of the spaceship, looked up at the seal of Boo on the opposite side, smiled very happily, and Sabubik and Yamu hurriedly bowed and saluted. Go ahead and make arrangements early. Buffy waving. After the two opened. Lord Buffy, I am really looking forward to it. Boo is about to wake up. Dappa, the king of Ruin, is also happy for Buffy D. That guy from Kaiwangshan should have discovered us, and we have to find a way to kill him. Buffety held his chin and muttered. Just as they were talking, the two suddenly felt a gust of wind blowing past. What is the situation? Buffy froze. Has the spaceship's heater failed? Dakula is also looking around. Buffy, Lord Buffy, then, that. Renbu's seal, you little brother shivered and pointed to the seal on the opposite side. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 166 A kick to wake up the sealed cloth. Buffy D also went to the right towards you. At a glance, Buffety's eyeballs almost popped out of his sockets. How can it be gone? Buffety looked stunned and saw that at the place where the seal of Sha Renbu was stored, the seal actually disappeared. Someone unexpectedly took Boo's seal without knowing it. Who has this ability? He actually took Boo's seal under his nose. Is it the realm god? Buffy D's face is getting ugly. The guy will teleport. Impossible. If it is Kaiwang god, I should be able to sense his appearance. Dapra shook his head slightly. Then tell me, how could Boo's seal be gone? Buffety asked loudly. Dapra stopped talking. You ask me. How do I know? I also want to know, how did this egg disappear? So puzzling. Here it is. Roger beckoned to Buffy D and Dapla, and after the two heard the words, they quickly looked in the direction of Roger. I saw the seal of Roger's demon Boo, and I don't know when, it has appeared by Roger's side. Buffy and Dapra both looked at Roger silently. Then, the two of them looked confused. Who is this person? Kill him. Buffety directly told Dapora to hum. I don't know whether to live or die. What a courage. Dapora snorted coldly, and a flame in his hand bombarded Roger's direction without hesitation. That energy flame hit Roger's body. No, to be precise, even Roger's breath layer didn't break through, and it just disappeared. Dabula was stunned that this guy is so powerful. Roger stomped on the seal of human Boo, and Buffy and Dapra were surprised to find that the egg, the seal of human Boo, was actually dented. Above, there is a very eye-catching footprint. Then, in the seal, like a deflated ball, streaks of pink gas came out. Buffy D was stunned and Dara was stunned. The two stared at the beads, and the minister watched such a strange transformation of Boo without blinking. Was he just kicked to death by him? However, the two quickly recovered from their confusion. I saw that on the ceiling of the spaceship, the pink gas condensed little by little and transformed into a pink fat man, which emerged from above. So, that is. Buffy D was stunned, with a little surprise on his face. Is it Boo? Only Kai Wangshan has seen Boo. It's hard to say, but depending on the situation, it should be. It's so good for Dapra to be vigilant. That idiot, let Boo out. Head, grinning, although Boo didn't wake up in full energy form, I still like the result. While talking, Boo fell from the sky and landed on the ground of the spaceship. Boo looked left, looked right. Then, Boo saw the seal with one more footprint at a glance. Boo's face turned gloomy at the time, his eyes narrowed into a line. Who kicked me? Boo said coldly. Are you Boo? Asked Buffy quickly. Boo nodded, looking at Robaffity in disgust. Look at it for a moment. Is it yours for me? Boo asked with a dark face. Really Boo? Great, my Boo, you are finally awake. Buffy was so excited that he went up and hugged Boo's thigh. Humph, that guy over there is unfortunate. You let Boo out. Dapra sneered at Boo to the right. He was the one who woke you up. Look at the footprints, not much different from his feet. Buffy pointed to Luo. Boo turned his head to Roger, looking annoyed. What are you looking at? Roger asked Boo to keep staring. Roger smacked Boo on the head with a scepter. Boo's eyes appeared in front of many, many little stars, and the little stars swirled around his head, and Boo fell to the ground and fainted. Buffy was dumbfounded. Dapra also looked stunned. That's gone. Is this fat man Boo? Certainly not. Must be mistaken. The real Boo, how could he be so careless? As for the two of you, if you provoke God, you will die. Roger squinted at Buffy and Dapra, but I've decided to let you guys stay a while longer, so I won't kill you today. As Roger said, the realm of the scepter of the true God appeared in his hand. Ask for flowers. Suddenly, the space-time was distorted for a while. In the blink of an eye, the time has returned to 3 minutes ago. Gaga, I heard that tomorrow will be the world's #1 martial arts conference on this planet. At that time, all the powerhouses on the planet will gather. You two will go to the competition site and take the opportunity to absorb some energy and come back. Buffy D's voice came out, laughing happily. Looking at the opposite of Buffy D, Majin Buu's seal is intact without Spubik and Yamu bowing in salute. Go ahead and make arrangements early. Buffy waving. The two opened high. Lord Buffalo, I'm really looking forward to it. Boo is about to be overwhelmed. The King of Shaman, Dapra, is also happy for Buffy D. That guy from Kai Wangshan should have discovered us, and we have to find a way to kill him. Buffy held his chin and muttered. Ah, suddenly feeling sick to my stomach. Dapra clutches his stomach. What? Buffy D couldn't keep up with Dapra's rhythm. Dapora gave a fart. The power of this knee is not small. At that time, Buffy D was sprayed into the air, and Buffy D hit the bulkhead of the spaceship heavily. I waved Mr. Buffy D, are you all right? Dapra was startled, and hurried forward to pull Buffy D up and roll. Buffy's face went black. You blew me away with a fart, how can you make me the boss in the future? Should I lose face? Buffy decided to kill Dapra outside the spaceship after Boo woke up. Roger was already grabbing the tentacles on Boo's head and came out. Just now, Dapra farted and gave Buffy D a blowout. Of course, it was Roger who did it. This time, Roger used the time back to let Boo's the seal was back 3 minutes ago, but Boo stayed outside. Hey, wake up. Roger kicks Boo. Fat Boo opened his dim eyes, looked left and right, then stared at Roger. Just now, did you knock me out? Boo is angry. Be honest and obedient, or you will die. Roger said. Whoosh, whoosh. Boo's head, shoulders, and arms simultaneously emitted a strong aura of pink smoke, blooming in this area. I can't spare you. Boo's eyelids turned evil. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 167 Boo, let's call you Booby and Bian. A minute later. Fat Boo nodded and bowed at Roger, showing how respectful he was. Just now, Fat Boo was ruthlessly repaired by Roger. Repaired to make Boo doubt life. That's right, you see, I don't like fighting, it's not right to fight. Roger touched Boo's head. Boo is in danger, daring to resist this guy is simply a villain. Can't beat him. How to do? By the way, turned him into chocolate and ate it. Roger, have you ever eaten chocolate? Boo grinned suddenly and asked what? Want to turn me into chocolate? Roger smiled. Boo's eyes widened, and his face changed color. Does he know? Play. Will also avoid. Come on, try it out, I won't hide. Roger smiled and beckoned 600 inches. Boo looked at Roger suspiciously. Don't doubt, I won't give you a chance if you miss me. Roger smiled. I'm not turning you into chocolate, I'm going to absorb you. Boo grinned, and when he said this, a pink flesh skin wrapped Roger inside. The next moment, Boo quickly merged with the flesh skin that wrapped Roger. Boo laughing wildly. Strangeness. Why hasn't my body changed? Boo stared blankly at his body. I am here. Roger's voice sounded behind Boo. Boo's heart sank, his head mechanically turned to his back, right to Roger's smiling face. Boo shivered. What other tricks? Just show it off. Roger smiled. Boo shook his head vigorously, and hurriedly knelt down to Futu to beg for mercy. If you don't have it, then you can change your appearance and follow me honestly. Roger greeted, and Boo was stunned. As for where to go, you don't have to worry about it. Roger said coldly, I don't like a little brother with a lot of problems. Boo's face darkened again. I'm the dignified Majin Boo, I don't want to be your little brother. You become a fat human being. As Roger said, the flame of the scepter in his hand flashed and hit Boo's body. Suddenly, Boo's body changed rapidly. Soon, Boo changed from the previous image of the pink fat man to an ordinary-looking earthling. A fat man with a big belly. In fact, Boo's image is still dominated by himself, mainly because Roger changed his skin color, and the antennae on his head were replaced with a small hair. From now on, your name will be Chubby. Roger gave Boo a new name, and I don't like the name. Boo is not happy. You are so fat. Still, the name Boo sounds good. Roger's coercion was exerted a little, and he directly pressed Boo into a flat shape. I have a student named Vegeta, who likes to contradict me. Now he is often trampled on the ground by me, and he has changed his name to Begum. Roger pondered. You said, you are flat now, should I draw you and change your name to Bupianbian? Boo. Cloth fan. So ugly. It looks like he's still fat. Well, it seems that you still like Chubby. Roger smiled and said, it's good to be like this earlier. You have to be suppressed to accept this name. You should feel honored that you let me name you. Boo simply stopped talking. Boo speaks less. Can't beat. Can't say enough. Just pretend to be dumb. 10 minutes. Bulma's tomb. Roger, who is this man? Bulma looked at Boo, who was eating and drinking in the sea strangely, with a question mark on his face. Why did Luogia bring this fat man back after a trip? Also, this fat guy can eat too much. It even kept up with the appetite of the Saiyans. You can just call him Chubby. Roger didn't explain much. Bulma didn't ask. So delicious, so delicious. Not to mention how happy Boo is to eat. You have so much delicious food, you should have said it earlier. Should I fight for Mao? Boo thinks Roger is insane. You told me earlier, you have rich food here, what else can I resist? Boo, this is the first time I have tasted such delicious food. Much better than cookie chocolate that becomes human. Cough cough. Roger, do you think it's okay for us to feed him those leftovers? Asked Bulma, smirking. Look how delicious he eats. Bulma, do you think he cares about leftovers? Roger's smile is fine, save a lot of garbage. Bulma, you don't care about the life and death of the earth, do you still care about the garbage of the earth? Bulma simply stopped talking. Roger, any more? Asked Boo. That's all for today, Roger said lightly, as long as you are obedient in the future, there will be more delicious food for you. Boo nodded vigorously. Well, go to bed first, take you to a place tomorrow, behave well, there will be more delicious food. Roger smiled. Boo nodded obediently again. The next day, Roger, Bulma, and Boo came to Bulma, the #1 martial arts conference in the world, Too early, right? Isn't it good for Roger to sleep at home at this time? But Bulma didn't like to sleep today, so it's a pity that she brought Roger over here. Bulma was so excited that there weren't many people in the venue when she flew in. And seeing the wings appearing behind Bulma, Boo's eyes widened with curiosity on his face. Come early so you don't have to queue for registration. Bulma found a reason for herself. Sure enough, there is no one lined up at the registration office. His name is Little 2.0 Fatty, and he signed up for the world's #1 martial arts conference. Roger pointed to the Boo registration office where the name, Little Fat, was recorded. Oops, I suddenly remembered. Gohan and the others said they were going to gather at our house and fly a helicopter to the scene. Bulma looked at the time and patted her forehead. It seems to be an appointment for 7 o'clock in the morning, now it's 7:10. As he was talking, Bulma's cell phone rang. Bulma got on the phone. Bulma, how about you? Are you sleeping with Roger? Get up quickly, we are all here, we are going. Degree Klin's voice came over. Bulma's danger is red. Am I so busy every day? Do you sleep with Roger? Krillin, wait for me. Please, Roger and I are here at the tournament. Bulma shouted angrily. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 168. Why is it called Master Roger? Country, y'all gone. So what do we do? What else can I do about the distress of Krillin's eyelids? Just fly over. Bulma said angrily. Is this trivial still bothering me? After Bulma finished speaking, she hung up the phone angrily. Bulma is really pissed. You said that if Roger really slept with himself, there would be no problem with that, Krillin. My relationship with Roger is very pure, okay. The best we can do is to hold hands. So sad. Bulma sometimes even thinks about whether angels don't like women. If he didn't look so good, why wouldn't Roger not be interested? In fact, Roger is not unmoved, because he is somewhat obsessive. Roger always feels that his control of the power of angels is not perfect. Also, Roger is now practicing in the 7th universe, which is actually equivalent to sleeping in the 7th universe. The 7th universe is not your own universe after all. To put it bluntly, Roger really felt a little homeless. He couldn't marry Bulma and let her be homeless with him, right? What? Live at Bulma's house. I am a 15 angel, I am not a son-in-law. Therefore, regarding Bulma's feelings, Roger once said that when he has a new universe, he will definitely give Bulma an explanation. However, I was old at that time. Bulma sometimes sighs that angels don't age. And myself, the best youth is gone. Is the little Fat good at fighting? Bulma asks Roger. Fat, I saw a bald dwarf coming in a while, and gave me a slap in the face to fix him. Bulma patted Boo on the arm. Bulma, you are a good person, give me something delicious and I will help you. Boo nodded and Bulma felt a burst of guilt in his heart. Otherwise, don't give him leftovers next time. Waited for a while. Vegeta flew from a distance first and landed beside Roger. At this time, there were more and more spectators and players at the venue. When someone saw that Vegeta was flying, many people were startled, which reminded them of the Sharu game incident a year ago. It seems that this sharp-haired guy, many people who have participated in the Sharu game are silently looking at Vegeta. After Vegeta landed, she glanced at Boo, guessing the origin of this fat man. Bei Yingguo, how was his practice? Roger smiled and said as long as that guy Feibotic doesn't participate in the competition, I will definitely win the championship. That's how Vegeta looked at Vegeta from Boo without blinking. This guy is the guy who was rolled on the ground by Roger for more than 30 years. So apprehensive. Humph. Boo snorted. I won't let that tragedy happen to me. What is he humming? Vegeta doesn't understand Boo anymore. He doesn't seem to be very satisfied with me. He can put the two of you into a group later and have a good discussion. Roger laughed and Vegeta didn't speak. Based on what Vegeta knew about Roger, he suddenly brought such a fat man to appear. This fat man should not be as simple as he thought. Who is this fat man? Before the battle, his breath seemed to be hidden, and the depth could not be seen at all. At this moment, Sun Wukong and others descended from the sky and landed on Roger's side. Cut also came in groups. Vegeta snorted. Haha, are we okay with this? Flying over so blatantly, will it cause a sensation? Krillin said with a smile. Sure enough, many people at the scene saw that Krillin and Sun Wukong were flying over. Everyone was stunned, as if they had encountered a monster. At this moment, they looked at Roger and the others. Hearing Dan's name, they all exclaimed and stopped paying attention to Kaylin and Sun Gohan who had just flown over, and ran away without a trace. We fought hard to defeat Sharu, and in the end, this guy Satan became a hero. Shouldn't we let him out for repairs? Krillin scratched his head. As soon as he finished speaking, Krillin was knocked down by Boo's punch. What greeted Kaylin was a fat beating of Sun Wukong and the others. Who is this fat man? Why beat Krillin? Boo beat Krillin, then walked away and stood beside Bulma. My condolences, his name is Xiaopong, and he is my friend. I was very upset by the call from Krillin just now, so I asked him to beat Krillin. Do you have any opinions? Bulma asked Sun Gohan and the others with his hips on his hips and shook his head vigorously. Who dares to provoke Bulma? Still don't touch the bully. During the conversation, several people signed up. Not long after, the Bardock family also came. Bardock, don't be so restrained in front of me, I'll give you a face today, there is no master and servant. Roger Do Bardock. I salute. Now you say there is no master and servant. However, Bardock should have the courtesy. Bardock hurriedly bowed and saluted. Jin and Raditz are also Tae Kyung on their faces. They all know that it was Roger who brought Raditz back to life and now Haim is counting on Roger to resurrect Kakarot. Sun Wukong, Kaylin and the others all looked at the Gohans of the Bardock family thoughtfully. Is that your grandfather Bardock? Goku's father? Krillin pondered yes. Sun Gohan nodded. But why did he call Roger the master? Krillin looked puzzled, but Sun Gohan was a little shocked. Roger is the master of Grandpa. It's a bit of a mess. I'm sorry, I'll ask again when I get a chance. What about Dad? Dad hasn't come yet. Sun Wukong didn't want to think about the question of his grandfather calling Roger master. He was looking forward to his father's appearance, right? Didn't Tianjin Fan and Leping come? Bulma asked Vegeta and couldn't help but squeaked. Roger asked Vegeta to notify all the fighters to participate in the competition, but as a result, there were 2 less people, and Bayanta gave Roger a secret look. It seems that Roger has no intention of embarrassing himself. Veggie breathed a sigh of relief. Well, those 2 guys are insignificant. At least, what should come has already come. At this time, another person fell from the sky. However, this person went directly to the report office and did not come to greet Roger and others. Is she an android? That android number 18. Keelan recognized number 18. When he heard about Shalu's game, Klein hugged Leping tightly and regarded Leping as number 18. Is it true? Turtle Immortal asked a question. Everyone laughed. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 169 The Resurrection of Wukong. Teacher Wu Tian, can you not mention the past? Krillin said with a dark face. Boo's face. Who are these guys? Do you want to turn them all into chocolate and eat them? Well, just leave the good guy Bulma. At this moment, Sun Wukong, through teleportation, appeared at the scene where Sun Wuhan and others were in a flash. Kling was very pleasantly surprised. Dad. Sun Wukong is even more excited. Goku. There were tears in Chi-Chi's eyes, and the next moment, many people present rushed towards Sun Wukong. Kakarot, Jean also had tears in his eyes, and looked at Sun Wukong with some joy. This kid, the popularity on Earth is pretty good. Bodok laughed and lived, only 24 hours. Granny Crystal told Wukong on the side. Okay, thank you mother-in-law Shuapan. Sun Wukong nodded. Granny Shuichang sat on the crystal ball and left. This person is strikingly similar to Raditz, who is it? Monkey King pointed to Bodok. Raditz. Lin. Bulma. Everyone present was speechless. Even Vegeta was trembling all over Lay's body. Idiot, look carefully, who does he look like? Vegeta said angrily. Bald. Kakarot said that he smashed his head when he was a child. Is he stupid? Raditz covered his eyelids and asked Krillin beside him. Krillin rolled his eyes. Why should I tell you? Kakarot, you have grown up. Bodikra stepped forward with giant step by step. You. Sun Wukong looked at Bardock without blinking, and then looked at Ginika Jine, who was beside Bardock. Tears welled up in his eyes. I seem to have seen you. Sun Wukong's mind flashed a miniature spaceship saying goodbye to his parents. Dad, they are Grandpa and Grandma. Sun Wufan said from the side that Grandpa and Grandma. My dad and Mom. Sun Wukong looked at Bardock and Jine in surprise. Bardock and Jine nodded slightly. Are you still alive? You didn't ask Sun Wukong in disbelief when Planet Vegeta exploded. For some reason, we didn't die. Bardock smiled. Kakarot, I'm glad to see you as Kakarot. Jine stepped forward and gave Sun Wukong a warm hug. Don't be embarrassed by hugging me like that. Ha ha. Sun Wukong is a little embarrassed. Everyone present is also happy for Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong finally met his parents. Kakarot, come on, I hope you win this competition. Mom and Dad are cheering you on in the stands, and I'm fist-fucking Sun Wukong. Okay, I'll try. Sun Wukong nodded. The scepter in Roger's hand flashed an invisible energy, and this invisible energy hit Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong felt a violent forehead on his body. Immediately afterwards, Sun Wukong raised his head in surprise and looked at the golden halo above his head that was slowly disappearing. This is. Don't mention how surprised Sun Wukong is. Goku seems to be resurrecting. The next moment, everyone saw that the halo on Sun Wukong's head completely disappeared. Wukong. How is this going? Are you resurrected? Keelan asked in surprise, although he didn't know what was going on. But, I seem to be really resurrected. Sun Wukong scratched his head, his face also puzzled, and then looked at Roger. Is that you? Roger. Wrong, you have been resurrected. Roger nodded with a smile. Many people looked at Roger immediately. Just now, indeed, most people saw the scepter in Roger's hand. Roger just pointed the scepter at Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong was resurrected like this. It's amazing, right? Especially Zubu looked at Roger with astonishment. Who is this guy? Can the dead be resurrected? The brain is not enough. It seems that wanting to hang him is a very difficult task. Am I reading it right? Roger, did you resurrect Goku to drink? Kling's eyes widened. Roger in disbelief. How did you do it? Turtle Immortal also couldn't believe it and turned to Roger's group of idiots. Only now did he know. Vegeta shook her head and sighed. What do you mean? Vegeta, what are you talking about? Krillin asked in confusion. Let's talk about this later. It's time for the contestants to enter the arena. Roger laughed at this kind of thing. There is no need to explain it too thoroughly. They can understand as much as they can. The more they understand, it is their creation. Let's go. If you don't go, it will be treated as a waiver. Vic urged the scene. Roger, Sun Wukong and others were divided into two parts. One part went to the competition as a contestant, and the other part went to the auditorium in the auditorium. There are too many people and it is crowded. How about we go upstairs over there to eat and watch the game? Roger raised his finger and pointed to a buffet on a rooftop in the distance. Too far to see the game here, right? Degree Immortal Turtle put her hand on her forehead and looked at Ruo far away. It's a bit far, and we managed to squeeze into the front row. Kiki nodded and said yes, if it really went, I wouldn't be able to see it at all. Oolong shook his head, so I won't go. How could I watch the game here? Come on, love to go or not? Bulma said. The white wings behind him also spread out. Turtle Immortal's eyeballs almost jumped out of his eyes. Kiki also widened her eyes, with an incredible look on her face. Oolong was startled. Let's go. Bulma's wings moved slightly, suspended and walked. Roger smiled. Nuo's Jiao, Shu Lin Shu. Roger took Bulma and flew towards the cafeteria on the high building over there. Bardock and Jine didn't say much. Followed behind Roger and Bulma, Jine turned back again. The audience who hugged Chi-Chi and chased up to the scene were all stunned after such a scene on the right, and in the audience, only the Turtle Fairy and Wulong were staring with big eyes. Turtle, can you fly? Bird Dragon asked with a wry smile. You pig, I'm Teacher Wu Tian, is there anything I can't do? Give me a good look. The Turtle Immortal said, and quickly turned the cane in his hand. Immediately, the body of the Turtle Fairy slowly took off. Oolong turned into a bird directly. Old Turtle, come on. Oolong flapped his wings and quickly flew away the Turtle Fairy. The dignified Teacher Wu Tian, today, even a pig is not as pitiful. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 170 The Realm God and Jabbit. After Roger and Bulma landed in the cafeteria on the high-rise building, Bulma directly announced that although the private dining room was delicious, my mother was the richest man in the world and was not bad for money. On the other hand, the players who signed up for the world's #1 martial arts conference also walked towards the player preparation room one by one. Wukong, this Roger, did he really resurrect you like this? Kaylin looked at Sun Wu in disbelief. Yeah, it was amazing, although he didn't know how he did it. Sun Wukong laughed, but Lord Zhuang also told me that Suji is not as simple as it seems on the surface, right? I have always regarded him as an ordinary person. Kaylin smiled bitterly, then he consoled himself, maybe he just knew some weird spells, right? Like resurrection or something. His real strength is very average, and he doesn't even have much combat power. It must be, or why did he not participate in the battle when Frieza and Sharu appeared? Maybe. Sun Wukong smiled. Idiot, Roger isn't just fighting them. Vegeta interjected. Monkey King and Krillin glanced at Vegeta. Krillin, why is your face blue and purple? Who was it in a fight with 000? Sun Wukong changed the topic. Wuhan, did you see that fat man? It's him. He was the one who beat me up. Klimpy clenched his teeth and clenched the head. Sun Wukong looked back at Boo. Who is that fat man? Never seen it. Sun Wukong's confused face seems to be the bodyguard invited by Bulma. Great, this guy is also participating in the competition. I was embarrassed to repair him in front of Bulma just now, and I will get into the ring later. He feels so good. Krillin's head is pounding. It seems that the strength of that fat man is a bit difficult. Sun Wukong pondered in a low voice and said, Wukong, don't scare people. Kaylin stared, but then again, Wukong, you must be very happy to see your parents, right? Haha, yes, I didn't expect them to be pretty good. Sun Wukong scratched his head and turned to look at Gohan. How is your cultivation, Gohan? You haven't delayed your cultivation this year. Sun Wufan doesn't know how to answer. Rabbit, are you also participating in the competition? Sun Wukong takes another look at Raditz Kakarot. This time I will fix you well. I want you to see and see. My powerful Raditz as a brother smiled. While we were talking, the player preparation room also arrived. The Z fighters participating in the competition are Monkey King, Vegeta, Son Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Raditz, Boo. Little Fatty, number 18, a total of 8 people. The world's #1 martial arts conference has not yet started the competition for the youth group. Therefore, although Son Gohan is only 11 years old, he is also considered to be in the adult group. Plus myself, 8 people. I'll go. Am I at the bottom here? It seems that the only one I can beat is that fat guy. Can I only get 7th place? Yes, the ratio is in the form of a lottery. Maybe the strongest Beijipei and Son Gohan are drawn together. Saying that, I still hope to make the top 3. Krillin has a calculation in his mind. In the hand preparation room, an instrument for testing strength was soon added. Satan Very Jong came up to give a demonstration. Then, Satan punched a high score of 137. Cut, boring guy, Vegeta snorted. I really don't understand, why did Roger let me participate in such a boring game? Didn't Roger say it? A powerful monster will be born. Who will it be? Vegeta looked back and forth, left and right, but didn't find any monsters. Vegeta, must practice hard and strive to stand in this universe as soon as possible. No, stand in the whole world. The peak of the universe. I don't want to be a pawn. Kakarot, did you sense any suspicious breath, BFBG? Vegeta asked Monkey King Vegeta. You must have thought of the terrible monster, Roger said, right? I didn't feel it. Sun Wukong shook his head. No kidding, are there really scary monsters? I hope there won't be. The nervousness on Keelan's face. Sun Wukong smiled. Soon, it was the turn of Sun Wukong and others to test their strength on the strength tester. As soon as Vegeta climbed up and bombarded it, he directly smashed the strength tester to pieces. The few of us here don't need to do this kind of boring test anymore. Vegeta snorted and the players were all stunned. Let's go and walk outside. Sun Wukong proposes. Everyone went outside together. Many players have made way for them. Too terrifying. As soon as he learned, he blew up the strength tester. Monkey King and others went to the restaurant first, and had a beautiful meal. Yummy, so delicious. Boo had a great time eating. I didn't expect to participate in this kind of competition. There are still delicious food to enjoy. It's so good that Boo's unhappiness in his heart and the evil in his heart were temporarily suppressed by the food. After coming out of the restaurant, Sun Wukong and others saw one tall and one short. Personal. The tall one is about 2 meters tall. Although the short man looks about 1.6 meters, but his feet have already left the ground, and he is slightly suspended. Xiao Wukong and others are silently facing the two people opposite, a little surprised. Hello, you are Monkey King Bar. My name is Shin, he is Jabbat, and I have long admired your name. The king of the realm Shin smiled and stretched out his hand. Hello. Sun Wukong stepped forward to shake hands. At the moment when he held the hand of the realm king God Shine, Sun Wukong's eyes moved slightly. We also successfully passed the preliminaries. I hope we can compete well on the broadcasting station. Xian smiled and said to Sun Wukong. I seem to have seen you, Boo, but whispered something. Shin glanced at Boo. This fat man, so cooked onions. Why does it have a strange smell? Moreover, the realm king god keenly felt that the fat man's body seemed to be hiding an extremely powerful evil aura. The realm king god Xian's brows couldn't help frowning together. Who is this fat man? Even Jabbat on the side looked at Boo without blinking. However, the two of them were stunned to think about breaking their heads, but they never thought that this fat man was the Boo they were looking for. The two of them did not expect that Boo had already appeared at the martial arts conference, but the mage Buffety, like the Grudge, was guarding an empty shell, fantasizing about awakening the sleeping Boo. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 171 Weiss, I invite you to dinner, come on. What is the name of this friend? The king god Shine asked Boo to the right. Chubby. Boopia. Can you please stop asking my name? I don't like this name at all. Once Boo can't do anything, he doesn't want his name to be changed to Boobian. Of course, Boo can also refuse. Boo believed that he would be beaten to death by that Roger. Am I the worst devil ever? Look at Bei Gun Gun, this product is quite fun. Don't you feel sorry for your name? You idiot. You deserve your hair to stand up. Vegeta was a little confused when she saw Boo looking at herself. What do you see me doing? You are fat. I'm not fat. You say you have seen me. Xian didn't notice that these details were unclean. After Boo said this, he stopped talking to Xian. Listen to Roger's meaning. As long as he wins the championship in this martial arts conference, he will let yourself go back to freedom. What are you doing so hard? Wouldn't it be delicious to just turn these guys into chocolate? Boo is very uncomfortable. Is this game interesting? How delicious is chocolate? Not quite. The food I ate in the past 2 days seems to be much better than the chocolate or biscuits that people have turned into, or, when I have eaten enough, and then turn them into chocolate. Well, hold on. So, We'll see you on the stage. Xian smiled, but didn't get to the bottom of it, but when Xian was leaving, he took a deep look at Boo and felt that he had seen this guy before. Why does he have a very familiar aura about him? Who is this fat guy? Xian never thought that the person he was looking for was right in front of him. Xian wouldn't have thought that Boo had already run out and changed his face to Xin. Haven't heard of this name. He's very powerful. Qian asked a little scared. Yes, he is a very amazing guy. Sun Wukong nodded. Stop joking. How can such a powerful guy appear? In this way, I have no hope of entering the top 5. Krillin held his bald head with a sad expression on his face. Kakarot, you say, could he be the monster? Roger said. Vegeta looked at Shin Shengo's back. No evil aura fluctuations. Sun Wukong shook his head. If there are terrifying evil monsters in the strait, I think the breath on the body must be very evil, right? Vegeta didn't speak. Mikey is also evil. You don't care. Cafeteria on the roof. Roger suspended the scepter on the ground, and the crystal ball at the top of the scepter immediately projected the content displayed by the three-dimensional image. When did Roger learn this method? Where the shaking table of the world's #1 martial arts conference is located? Chi-Chi's eyes widened and don't speak. He is the master of Bardock. You respect him. Jine lowered her voice and asked Chi-Chi whether he is very powerful. Chi-Chi asked. Jine nodded. Do you often bully Bardock? Kiki asked again. Nothing. Jine smiles wryly. Bully. It seems that it was Bardock who moved first. Really bullying. I let Wukong clean him up. Goku is very powerful. Chi-Chi Dao heard Chi-Chi's words. Jine's face changed color. Kiki, you must not have such thoughts, it is very dangerous. Jean hurriedly reprimanded and said sternly, I tell you clearly, Kakarot is not his opponent. When did Roger become so powerful? While Chi-Chi was stunned, Oolong and Immortal Turtle flew back one after another. Come on, old turtle, you are flying too fast. Oolong smiled and said hello. Turtle Immortal's face was dark. The two quickly reached the right of the stereoscopic projection on the roof. What advanced technology is this? Bulma, did you research it new? Turtle Immortal asked curiously why he wanted to see Bifi here, so real. Ma Long also revolves around the projection. What you should care about now is not the projection, but my wings. Bulma showed her pair of white wings. Bulma, when did you develop flying wings? Turtle Immortal asked that I didn't research it. Bulma shouted, forget it, I tell you that I don't understand. Bulma simply doesn't want to explain. A pig and a tortoise, explain to them what to do. I'm so wrong. I'm showing my wings now, is it a little early? I should show Wing Peng in front of Goku and the others. Bulma with a thin face retracted her wings. Roger was not idle, but separated a picture from the scepter, and dialed Wes's video phone. Weiss, long time no see. Roger waved at Weiss. Weiss, during this period of time, I have actually been reflecting on myself. What do you think my things outside of me do? Roger breathed. It's my fault for believing you. You take your scepter faster than anyone else. Wes, in order to express my apologies to you, I decided to treat you to the best food. Roger said and pointed the projection at the food of those buffets. How? Is it attractive? Want to eat or not? There is a food star in the 6th universe, and that planet is rich in all kinds of food. Weiss smiled, judging from the appearance, it seems that the food of the food star is more delicious. Gourmet star. I've been there, and it's unpalatable. Roger opened his mouth to come. In fact, Roger has really been to Food Star. That planet is rich in all kinds of food in the universe. There are indeed many delicacies from mountains and seas. Still, Roger prefers the food of the earth. Know what this is? Roger said, picking up an ice cream. It looks like a snow mountain cake. Weiss guessed. It's called ice cream, haven't you heard of it? Roger asked with a smile, and picked up another meat skewer. This. Have you seen it? Isn't this a string of beads from the planet Pteropoda? Can I eat it? Weiss wiped sweat. This is called meat skewer. Forget it. Roger said, even interrupting the video call. Weiss clicks. Tasty. Are you fooling me? Or, to see. Just take a look, eat him something, he can't ask me for something, right? Yes, just take a look. After, taste. Eat it. If it doesn't taste good, find a reason to leave. Just now there is nothing to do. Weiss turned into a colorful flame, broke through the void, and flew away in the direction of the earth. Roger called Vados again. What's up? Vados asked with a straight face. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 172 Vados, watch the game. After thinking about it, I felt very sorry for you, so I decided to treat you to a big meal. Roger can't be recruited. Vados's answer is called 1,000 crisps. Really not coming. Weiss is on his way. Roger is going back to Dawes. Vados's heart tightened. Weiss, this stupid brother, won't be fooled by Roger, if he loses something else. Weiss. No, Myers won't be killed, will he? Galactic Patrol Headquarters. Myers sneezed. What's the situation? I suddenly felt a danger signal. Mers pondered in a low voice. Since you have sincerely invited me, I will go over and taste it. Vados smiled slightly. Remember to bring over the core of the sixth universe. Luo, 270 inches is outstanding. Such a sentence, the sweat falls on the face. Roger rolled his eyes. Enough. Angels are also in default. Roger won the core of Vados and their sixth universe last time. So far, they have not brought the core. Fortunately, the core is stored in the sixth universe, and it will also increase spirituality, so Roger is not in a hurry. Going to find them after all, the new universe has not yet been formed, and it is of little significance to bring the core over for the time being. It is temporarily stored in the sixth universe. Roger is going to get the core back. Master Shangpa, come here. In front of Roger's video, Vados greeted Shangpa and walked over obediently. I ask you, let you send the core to the seventh universe, have you sent it? When Vados said this, he winked at Ruoxiampa. Vados, I also want to send it, but it has been more than a year since Jing, and I have no time to play hide and seek with Lord Quan Wong all day long. Shangpa understands, looks up to the sky and sighs. What about the core? Vados reached out. Bright, let me think. Shangpa's face changed slightly, and he lost his voice. Oops, the core seems to be. I don't know where to put it. What did you say? Don't you hurry to find it. Vados said angrily. Then, Vados glanced at Roger with some guilt. I'm really sorry, Roger. I didn't know that guy like us didn't give you the core. I thought he already gave it to you. Vados said, and shouted to Pa, don't hurry and find me. Looking for Shangpa, nodding hard. By the way, what about Russ? Roger was too lazy to act with them, so he changed the subject and practiced in the realm. Vados replied, and didn't say much about missing her. Roger thought. Vados rolled his eyes. Trustworthy. Well, I invited this meal, and I brought food from the food star of our universe by the way, as an apology for the core thing. Vados said. Vados felt that he had to go to the seventh universe province to see. So as not to be fooled by Roger, the stupid brother. Will Russ come? Roger asked. She won't go, she's been practicing pretty well recently. Vados smiled slightly, then, after we saw Vados interrupted the video call for a while, we called Weiss again. Vados is not stupid. We can't just run over stupidly because of Roger's words. Bar. Sister, I just went over to taste the food, and I will never bet against Roger. Weiss smiled and made a promise. What kind of food to eat? Isn't the food star of the sixth universe not enough for you? Vados said occasionally. He also tasted other delicacies, haha. Weiss laughed, looked at Vados and said, Sis, when did you become so angry? Vados' expression froze. Yes, why do you like to be so angry? I wasn't like this before. Out of love comes sorrow, out of love comes fear. If you are away from what you need, you will have no worries and no fear. What did you say, Weiss? Vados couldn't understand why Weiss said this suddenly. Sister realizes herself. Weiss smiled. It seems that you have given up. Vados smiled slightly. In fact, it's not completely letting go. Weiss shook his head. If we really let go, Roger's invitation, we won't have to be so embarrassed. The problem is, we all know that it's definitely not good for this kid to invite us. Vados smiled wryly. Sister, think about it carefully. It seems that we took the initiative to ask Tavis to correct Vados. Vados thought about it. It really is the truth. Roger didn't find himself a pig race. I really found him. Moreover, I even started the layout 3 years ago when I was gambling, and I even went back to the past and changed some things. Well, I will go and play. Speaking of which, we haven't seen each other for many years. Vados smiled, but I have tasted the food of the earth, and that's how it is, barely able to reach the 6th and 6th grades. It's very high. Weiss' eyes brightened a little, and the highest level of the food star is 7th. Bar. Yeah, Vados nodded. Actually, the food of the earth is considered to be the 6th grade. I said that it is barely the 6th grade. Of course, it also depends on personal taste. Even if it barely reaches the 6th level, it is very remarkable. Weiss smiled. In the past, Lord Beerus liked to look for food everywhere, but in the end, he searched all over the 7th universe, and the highest food grade was only 5th. I didn't expect that there are close to 6th class food on the earth, which saves a lot of trouble. It's a pity, the legendary 9th class top beauty, I have only tasted it once so far. Vados sighed. That's the unforgettable thing that Lord Quanwang obtained through the wish of the dragon of the gods. Sister, don't be greedy for me, the 9th class food. Just this name is enough for me to think about it. Drooling. Let's not talk about 4.2, let's see you on Earth. Vados greeted you with Ruosi this time. Weiss asked not to bring her. Vados shook his head. Yep, Weiss thought it was just him and his sister going to Roger and having a meal. It didn't seem like a big deal 10 minutes later. A bright colorful flame bloomed all over Weiss' body, fell from the sky, and landed on Roger's side for another 5 minutes. Vados also fell. Roger found that the game had not started yet, so he temporarily put away the blue-skinned beauty with the scepter. It's my type. The turtle immortal's eyes gleamed, and she looked at Vados excitedly. I like it too. Oolong's face turned red. Become a sculpture. Vados was not polite to them, and the divine power emerged on the scepter. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 173 Top Food in the 6th Universe. Immediately, Turtle Immortal and Oolong became 2 statues. Weiss remembers, my sister wasn't like this before. Wasn't it just being looked at by 2 unruly guys? As for turning them into sculptures. Forget it, whatever. Bardock hurriedly dragged Giant to the table beside him. The people at this table are all gods. He and Jine, 2 human beings, dare not go over to join in the fun. Sit whatever you want, greeted Roger. As for Turtle Immortal and Oolong, Roger won't care. Weiss, sit down. Roger, that guy like Pa forgot the location of the core of the 6th universe. It is estimated that it will be difficult to find it for a while, but don't worry, if you find it, I will let him deliver it as soon as possible. Vados gives assurance. Roger laughs. I believe you are a ghost, okay. Can't find this thing. Vados, what is the relationship between the 2 of us? Can you tell me the truth? Roger sighed, and pointed at Bardo Stone. Actually, I already know that the 6th universe has not been stable recently. If the core takes control of the 6th universe at this time, it is very likely that there will be a 15-year explosion. I'm not unreasonable, Angel, you say it directly, I don't blame you. You all know 7. Bado's dry smile. Sister, what's the matter? What happened? Weiss asked if it's okay. Vados obviously didn't want to answer this question. Roger knew what happened to the spectrum. It was mainly Ruosi, the problem child. When she was training in the human world, she failed to control her angelic power and destroyed the 6th universe several times. Although Vados used the time back in time every time, but the number of times is too many. It will also lose the core of the sixth universe if the sixth universe is created. Don't worry, in the last month or so, the sixth universe will stabilize, and Ruosi's control of the power of angels will get better and better, and there will be no more problems. Vados promises I believe you, Vados. Roger laughed. Vados gave Roger a deep look. This kid can be so good. Not normal, not normal. Vados, you have come here, and you have also brought food from the sixth universe. Roger smiled. Hee, the food star of Universe 6, that's very famous. Vados smiled and said, and the food star of the sixth universe was born very early, 10,000 years earlier than this planet called Earth. Actually, I think the sixth universe is. The food on the star is really good. Roger sighed. Right. I heard that you also graded the deliciousness of the food. The best food of the sixth universe food star is only seventh, right? That's right. Vados nodded. Weiss nodded slightly. Did you bring it? Asked Roger. Of course. Vados smiled, waved the exquisite food on the food star of Universe 6, and landed on Roger's. Then Roger saw that there was a big ham in front of him, which was made of 36 kinds. The ham made of compressed meat is the most delicious in the world. Vados smiled and said. Roger tasted a sip. The taste is mediocre, not bad. The taste of it is a bit like ham sausage, but it tastes a little bit of the previous life. Yes, it is indeed the number one food in the sixth universe. Roger nodded, and casually released the projection of the world's number one martial arts conference scene again. Weiss and Vados looked at each other immediately. The two angels also saw it right away. This venue is a bit like a human martial arts conference. You also have to taste the food of the earth. Roger greeted, it's so good for us to have a game while we eat. First off, Wes and I are not going to play. Vados said, my sister is right. Weiss nodded. Get vaccinated first. Lest Roger be up to something in a while. Enough for the two of you. Roger shouted, when did I force you to bet on the game? Is it every time you take the initiative to find me? I said no to play. Are you the one who insisted on playing with me? Weiss stopped talking. Vados also lowered his head. I'm an angel, do you think I'm a good gambler? Roger said angrily. Roger, calm down, we have so many good things, why do we want to bet on the game? Bulma took it, raised her chin, and pondered, I don't think so. Now Roger, there are a total of 5 powers, and they have gained 20 of the realm of straight gods, and there is a core of the universe that has not been obtained. Bulma said that the clothes on his body suddenly changed the style. Vados is heartbroken, and the danger is all white. That's my scepter. Doer, is it really appropriate for you to dress a human being? Since you think I called you here to compete with you pigs, then you can go after your ice cream. Roger sighed. Vados, Weiss, eat some. Roger didn't mean that. Don't be angry, don't be restrained. Bulma is on the sidelines and mud. The two of them couldn't hold back their love, and after tasting the ice cream in front of the serving 667 times, both Weiss and Vados' eyes lit up, and Dad was sluggish for a moment, and it was delicious. What is this delicious? Isn't this a 7th class food? Also on the ball, there are actually 7th class delicacies. This is incredible too. Although they are both 7th class delicacies, the two angels have never eaten ice cream. Roger, who was happy at the time, served them with ordinary ice cream. Is it really appropriate? Bulma is a little too embarrassed to see how delicious they are. Roger smiled. To us, those 2 ice creams are ordinary, but in their eyes, these 2 ice creams are delicious. What a poor angel, even ordinary ice cream tastes so relish. Roger, you said, if we give them special ice cream, what will their expressions look like? Bulma was a little curious that it was a 9th class food, so it was a bit of a waste for them. Roger smiled at Bulma and expressed sympathy for these 2 angels. At this time, the world's number 1 martial arts conference began to group. A total of 21 people participated in the competition. 20 of them will decide the winner on the shake table. The final winner can challenge the hero Dan. The grouping soon had results. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 174 The Great Priest. The New Universe is in Trouble. Game 1. Krillin vs Spirit Mask. The masked man's strength is very bad, and Krillin kicked him away with one kick. The second game. Piccolo or Shin. Not long after the game started, Vic had insight into Shin's identity, and Zebu abstained. Is that the King of God? Is he coming to the game? Weiss was slightly startled, and glanced at the projection of the god of Shiji running to the human world to participate in the competition. What does he want to do? Vados is also a little puzzled. Weiss shook his head. Look at it. Whis does not know why Kaio God came to Earth to participate in the human martial arts tournament, and it is impossible for Whis to spy on everyone anytime, anywhere. In fact, even if it is Roger, if he does not know the plot of Dragon Ball, if he encounters what happened today, he does not know why. Whis, the life of that Beerus guy was fixed with that old guy, right? Vados asked casually. Haha, yes, he also sealed up the old king of the gods. Weiss nodded. Sister, you've turned bad. How can you call the old world king god an old guy? Game 3. Spoobage or Raditz. It's time for me, that guy named Spoobage, to fall. La Banksy smiled. Raditz, don't kill people. Sun Wukong said something. Humph. Raditz snorted coldly, didn't say much, and slowly Yun flew into the ring. He won't really kill, right? Sun Wukong is a little worried. When the king of the realm Shin walked off the ring and passed by Shpichi, he sensed the evil aura on Spoobage and a little bit of nightmare energy from the nightmare mage Bafidi, and frowned at that time. Sure enough, coming. That guy, Buffy, really made people come to the martial arts conference. This is a trouble. The man looked a little strange, as if he was being controlled. Buffy knew at a glance that Spoobage was a little different. Thinking that the Earth already has 7 levels of food. Weiss ignored the game. Not to mention how happy it was to eat. Vados glanced right at Weiss. Eat, just eat, you don't have to think about the pig race. On the stage, Raditz abused Shpichi with his powerful advantages, kicked off the ring and hummed, but didn't kill him again. You count yourself lucky. Raditz smiled lightly. At this moment, Roger's scepter shook slightly. Roger took a look. Grand Priest. What does this guy mean by contacting him? Immediately, Roger connected the video call of the Great Priest. Good Priest. Roger greeted with a smile. Grand Priest. Vados got up and saluted. Grand Priest. Weiss also stopped eating ice cream, and hurriedly saluted and coughed. Weiss and Vados are also there. The Grand Priest took a meaningful look at Vados and Sister Weiss. We accepted Roger's invitation and came to the Earth to enjoy the beauty. Weiss explained. Vados nods. Is there a game over there? Dashenyan also saw the projection next to Roger watching the game and eating food, which was also a kind of fun. Vados smiled. You can eat delicious food and watch games, but you can't compete. The Great Shrine directly ordered to understand, Lord Grand Priest. Vados and Weiss quickly ensured that Roger's face was dark. What do you mean, Great Priest? You video call with me just to say this. It's not fun now. The High Priest has issued orders to the two of them. I believe that Weiss and Vados will not be able to play happily. What is the big priest looking for me? Roger asked. Roger, the new universe has been having a bit of trouble lately, and I contacted you about it. The Great Priest sighed. The planet you were born before recently had a conflict with the core of the new universe. From the situation, it's a bit unpleasant. The Great God. How can conflicts arise? Roger asked in confusion. Normal, before the new universe is stable, if a planet is born in it, there will be a phenomenon of repulsion between the core and the planet. Vados inserted a sentence. Roger glanced at her, then at the Grand Priest. I don't read much, don't lie to me. Vados is right, this kind of situation does happen, which is why I didn't let you consume the birth planet of the true God-locked domain in the first place. The Great Priest nodded. What should the mother-in-law do? Roger asked. At present, it seems that only by erasing your planet, so that the core can continue to work properly, and the new universe can gradually become stable. The great priest said, "You'll know when you look at it. Roger, you can come and see if you have time." "I'll go right now." Roger nodded. A bright colorful flame broke through the void. "The two of you, remember what I said just now." The voice of the great priest came out that Weiss and Vados nodded quickly. "Very good." The great priest also disappeared instantly. Shenjia. Under the leadership of the great priest, Roger entered the new universe, and the new universe was originally expected to be stable after 3 years, but now it seems that the situation is indeed a bit unhappy. Let the core of the new universe repel a bit. If the exclusion of the core is not purple, it will be difficult to work properly. This will also lead to the slow formation of the new universe. Now, the scumbag in the new universe has grown to the size of the moon, and the whole body is pitch black. The planet that Luo Shu was born through the real body field is equivalent to the size of the Earth, about 8 times the core of the new universe, and it is also dark. You're bigger than your core, that's all. But the question is it good? The core is actually rotating around Luo Shu's planet. This makes the core very uncomfortable. I am the core of the universe, and I have to revolve around your core to be happy. You have seen the situation, Roger. The great priest shook his head. The core seems to want to stop working, expressing his dissatisfaction with this. After all, since the birth of the universe, no core of the universe has revolved around other planets, and all other planets revolved around the core. After the new universe is stabilized, the core can become independent and become a totem of the universe, which can grow and shrink at will. What does the great priest mean? This little thing wants to strike now. Roger pondered that roughly what he meant. The great priest nodded. The only way is to find a way to shrink or erase your planet. Although I can easily erase your planet, but for this kind of thing, you still need to be a bell person to untie the bell, so you should do it yourself. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 175. This angel is so cruel. Good to say. Roger nodded and readily agreed that the scepter in Roger's hand suddenly appeared in his right hand, and a flame of light shot out from the top of Roger's scepter. Wait a moment. The great god. However, it was too late for Roger's divine power to emerge. This light blue flame is infinitely magnified after the moment it is shot out. How big is it? At least when it was close to the core of the universe, it had grown to about the size of the core. With a bang, the blue flame hit the core and the cake was crooked. Roger scratched his head. Grand Priest, did you play it crookedly? Are you ready to fight? Okay. So sad. Roger didn't say much nonsense. The scepter once again condensed the flames, and the flames bombarded in the direction of the core. Cosmic core. The core of the universe, the lump of earth about the size of the moon, couldn't help but move his forehead and did not speak. Come again, Roger said, and the scepter was once again condensed by flames. This time, Roger's blue flames brushed past the edge of the core of the universe. The great priest said that you are not willing to work honestly. I still don't believe it. Roger murmured that if the core of the universe doesn't want to be erased by me, work hard for me. Roger scolded, and began to condense the realm of true gods again. The core of the universe is willing to move. Immediately afterwards, a huge divine power suddenly emerged from the core of the core and spread rapidly in the universe. Immediately, those space cracks that seemed to be unstable at first were slowly being repaired under the action of this divine power. Is that right? As the core of the universe, it is your job to stabilize the universe. Who are you revolving around? Even if the planet revolves around you, are you comfortable? Roger scolded his head and covered his face, and at the same time took back the realm of true gods. The new universe has not yet formed, and the core cannot speak, but it understands the core of the universe, which symbolizes the totem of this universe. For example, the totem of the 6th universe is a bead similar to Dragon Ball. For example, the totem of the 11th universe is full of a ruby. BFEG. For example, the picture of the 8th universe is a 9 tails. For example, the totem of the 7th universe is a real dragon. As for what the totem of this new universe is, Roger doesn't know that the new universe has not yet been formed. Most of the cores of the universe are sealed in the body of the god of destruction, mainly to guide the god of destruction secretly. Which planets are redundant and need to be destroyed. At the same time, let these gods of destruction always remember that you destroy planets, yes, but don't spoil it too much. If the entire universe is destroyed, the core will also be broken, and you will also be backlashed by lazy people like Beerus, the god of destruction in the 7th universe, who can find someone to work for you. How does the Seeker know which planet needs to be destroyed? This also led to the 7th universe's comprehensive score almost at the bottom. What? Depending on what you mean, you still don't agree, right? Roger continued to reprimand. Core of the universe. The great priest simply stopped talking. I asked you to solve your own planet, but it turned out that you were good. How did you bully the core of the universe? However, the great shrine seems to have a good effect, so he did not interfere. Maybe Roger did the right thing, repairing the core of the universe. Maybe this product will work well as the core of the universe. What you have to do is to stabilize the universe. Let this unstable universe stabilize as soon as possible, and you can be reborn and fly freely, am I right? Roger asks the core of the universe. Do you think that planet should revolve around you? Look how old you are. You let the big planet revolve around you, how are you? Roger reprimanded. The core of the universe is very aggrieved. All along, the planet has been revolving around the core, okay. Even the galaxy and the entire universe in the future have to revolve around me. You let me revolve around a dark planet. You are happy, I am not happy. However, the core of the universe dare not show it. The few times just now made the core of the universe a little scared. This angel is so cruel. Still the great priest is gentle. I thought about it seriously. From your point of view, it is indeed a bit unfair for you to revolve around other planets. Roger mused. The core of the universe is a little surprised. Has this murderous angel turned sex? Well, I'll make that planet go around you 50 tuck, a day and a night in Earth time, 24 hours. Roger continued. A burst of excitement in the heart of the universe. After 50 tuck, though, you have to keep orbiting that planet. Roger said, I mean, you change it every day, so that's fair, isn't it? Think about the core of the universe. Well, it's better than going around that planet all the time, right? That's a small gain. It can't be condensed into a totem in the future, and then when running to communicate with other cores may say, this core is so strange, it circles around other planets. Thinking about the core of the universe makes me feel tired. However, the savage angel could promise himself, and the scepter in the hands of Roger, who made the core of the universe happy, burst into flames and bombarded the dark planet on the planet that he had condensed. After the bombardment of the flame, the previous rotation gradually transformed into a rotation around the core. The core was overjoyed, and hurriedly stopped the revolution and started to spin. Work hard, and if you dare to be lazy in the future, I will let him replace you as the core. Roger threatened the core and looked at the planet that started to revolve around him. His heart was very complicated. It seemed that if this murderous angel forged this planet well, it would really be possible to replace him. The core has been decided, work hard from today. Roger and the Grand Priest have come out of the new universe. Great Priest, you are too gentle with that core, I think it's just a slap in the face, and you'll be honest if you touch it. Roger Dow Grand Priest's heart. Roger is a typical slap in the face and eating a sweet date. This core is also sad enough. However, you have paid the core payment like this. Do you think that after the new universe is stabilized, the core will choose you to take over? Still too young. The Great Priest felt proud in his heart. Grand Priest, is there anything else? Roger asked. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 176 Great Priest, Drinking. Never mind. The Great Priest smiled slightly. Well, I'll go first. Roger said, he is about to return to Earth. Are you going to return to Earth to watch the game? The Grand Priest smiled and asked if you really know me, Grand Priest. Roger nodded. I'm almost done with the work at hand, and I happen to be quite free. Let's go and have a look with you. The Great Priest smiled and put his hand on Roger's shoulder. The Grand Priest performed teleportation, and in a flash, the Grand Priest appeared in the self-service hall on the roof of the building on Earth. Weiss and Vados got up quickly. Salute. Today, there are no high priests here, only your father. The high priest said that Weiss and Vados salute again. That's great, I thought you were going to stay here as a high priest, Roger said, sitting on the chair with his legs crossed. Grand Priest. Weiss. Vados. Vados is even grinding his teeth. If you can beat this kid, you must fix him well. Is that person also an angel? Jain looked at the great shrine with pleasure, and asked Bardock in a low voice if he wasn't sure, but according to the situation, he had a very high status, and he was the father of the two angels. How many angels does Bardock have? Jain wiped the sweat. I do not know either. Bardock shook his head. I've seen all 6. Are they all as strong as Roger? Jain asked again. Don't worry, as long as you give me enough time, I will surpass Roger one day. Humph, when my strength surpasses his, I will make him my servant. Bardock lowered his voice. Bardock, stop joking. Jain's face changed color. You have been cultivating for more than 1,000 years. Do you think you have any hope of surpassing him? Saiyans are strong when they are strong. Bardock smiled confidently. You must be careful not to provoke Roger. Jain persuaded again. Have you forgotten how you were exiled? The corners of Bardock's mouth moved, and his face became stiff. I didn't mean to hit you, Bardock. Our life is actually pretty good now. At least the family is reunited with Karatel and Raditz. Both are very good. Karatel has a son. What else can we not be satisfied with woolen cloth? Jain feels that life is really beautiful now. I have measure. Bardock reassured. Didn't Joss and Myers come? The Great Priest asked. Father, we didn't call them. Weiss replied. Father, do you want to call the two of them too? No need to ask Vados. Let the two of them stay in their own universe and have a good experience. The Grand Priest thought about it and said that he refused to come here to supervise the two brothers and sisters of Vados and Vados. I'm right here, you too. I broke your leg, Roger. This is, Bulma asked at this point. This is the Grand Priest and the father of Weiss and Vados. Said Roger simply, he is our blessing, be polite to him. Grand Priest. Knowing that I am your elder, are you polite to me? The Grand Priest took a deep breath. Forget it, why should I know like a child? Roger took out the scepter and released the projection at the world's #1 martial arts conference. The most popular thing on earth is watching games and drinking beer. Roger smiled and added, and while eating skewers, Roger waved his hand gently, and a bucket of beer flew over. Roger poured a beer for the Grand Shrine himself. Grand Priest, how about a taste of this wine? Roger handed the beer to Wes and sniffed. The color of this wine is weird. Also with foam. What wine is this? What is beer? Wes, you haven't had a beer, have you? Roger's eyes widened, and he looked at Wei Wei with an unbelievable look. Ming Wei had never seen this kind of wine. Wei Wei smiled awkwardly. Vados, how about you? Roger asked Vados again. I just like to drink red wine. Vados didn't drink Roger at a glance, didn't he? What's the big deal? Come and have a drink. Roger poured another glass for Vados and Weiss. This time, Roger's barrel of beer was made by the Bulma family. Of course, Roger has many more. The Grand Priest, Weiss, and Vados took a small sip. Vados spit it out at the time, and stared at Roger angrily. What did you give us to drink? It is clearly the urine of the black shark horse on the planet La Dorado. Ask for flowers. You think too much. Roger smiled slightly, and took a big mouthful. This is made from wheat malt and barley malt as the main raw materials, plus hops, liquid gelatinization and saccharification, and then state fermentation. Its alcohol content is relatively low, it contains carbon dihydrogen, and the palace is nutritious. It contains a variety of amino acids, vitamins, low molecular weight sugars, inorganic salts and various enzymes. Vados, have you ever drank the urine of the black shark horse on the planet La Dorado? Vados glared at Roger and stopped talking. Is this beer? It tastes a bit special. Weiss tasted it and felt that it was nothing to drink. The Mingda priest did not comment. What kind of wine is this? Really bad to drink. Forget it, with my god position, let's not talk about it. Beer is not red wine is for tasting, and beer is for gulps. Roger said, and drank the pound of beer in the glass. Span. Roger rolled his eyes. This is the best beer on earth. If they say it's not good to drink, then they don't know. But thinking that it was the first time they drank beer, he felt unaccustomed to drinking beer, but Roger remembered his past life. He was a little unaccustomed to drinking beer for the first time, but beer is a thing, the more you drink, the better it tastes. The great priest also took a big sip, and it really tasted better than before, and nodded with satisfaction. Have some more kebabs. Roger greeted with a smile, and at the same time looked at the projection for the next game, Son Gohan vs Jabbit. It didn't take long for Roger to leave until he came back. At this time, it was the match between Son Gohan and Jabbit. Son Gohan directly turned into the second-tier Super Saiyan, with arcs entwined all over his body, and Jabbit, whose hair was standing high, was stunned, and his face became more and more red. I ignored it, but then, the high priest silently looked at Jabbit. He seems to be the servant of the Realm King. How did you get to enter the competition? The great priest pondered. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 177 The Great Priest, the King of the Seventh Universe. My father, the King of the Realm, is over there. Weiss smiled dryly and pointed to the real King God in the projection, which is really the King God of the Seventh Universe. The Grand Priest was slightly startled. It seems that it was because of some Majin Buu that he was about to wake up, and the Kaiwang God came to the human world to prevent Buu from awakening, and explained. Bad Buu, is that the little guy who absorbed the Seventh Universe Great Realm King God back then? Dajing Buu remembers. Yes. Weiss nodded, obviously doing a lot of homework in secret. Vados didn't speak. He took a sip of beer from time to time, let alone drinking it a lot. Vados felt that the taste of this wine was still very good. The power of the great realm god is far above the current realm god, but unfortunately he lost a lot of divine power because of the Seal Luo, otherwise, 423, would not be absorbed by Guangren Bu. The great priest's expressionless face, the king of the seventh universe is really messed up, just let them go on the stage. I'm a Super Saiyan now, what's next? Are you going to challenge me? Son Gohan looks at Jabbit with a provocative look on his face. Jabbit was heartbroken. Jabbit did not expect that the human beings on Earth would be so powerful and did not know, can Lord Kaiwangshan control such a powerful breath? Suddenly, two people swept away from the sky in the direction of Son Gohan. One of them also held an instrument with a thick pinhole in his hand. Who are you? Sun Wukong reacted, turning his head to look at the two of them, and was ready to fight. At this moment, Kaiwang stretched out his hand, and a piece of divine power emerged, covering Sun Wukong at once, but he felt a little wish, and his body suddenly became stiff. The instrument was stubbornly stuck on Sun Wukong's body. Gohan. Sun Wukong was shocked and went up to help. Do not move. Don't move. Son Gohan will be fine. Jabbit will get him back in no time. The King of God shouted loudly beside him. Who exactly are you? Raditz was also worried about Gohan, and immediately confronted Kaio Shinto that he was Kaio God. Piccolo quickly revealed his identity. Realm God. Raditz was slightly startled, and asked, is the realm of the realm very big? Of course. That's the god above the four realm kings. What do you know? Bigger. Raditz asked again. That's for sure. Roger still doesn't know what God is. Vic thinks Raditz is really ignorant. Sun Wukong and others were also shaken by the name of Kaiwang God for a while, but no one stepped forward to help Gohan. However, Sun Wukong and others are very clear that there should be his reasons for Sun Wukong to do so without danger to his life. Owner. Gohan, Bardock couldn't hold his breath. He stepped forward and said to Roger, "Don't worry, Gohan will be fine." Roger smiled. "Yes, Master." Bardock was relieved when he heard Roger say that. Shibubichi and Yamu quickly absorbed the energy of Son Gohan, and they flew away happily with the energy. Son Gohan lay on the ground, as if it had passed. "What should we do now?" Sun Wukong asked. "Immediately follow quietly, Zhuang Shendao. If you come together, I will tell you everything. The World King is already flying." Sun Wukong quickly appeared beside Jabit, "And it's okay to leave Gohan to you, right?" Sun Wukong asked. "Rest assured." Jabit's expression is indifferent. "So, let's go." Sun Wukong greeted Dao Kakra to Vegeta and others. "Stop joking, what about our game?" Vegeta was almost unhappy. "Vegeta, you see I'm all resurrected now, we can play anytime." Monkey King said in a low voice. "Also, I suspect now that the person Kaiwang is looking for is probably the monster that Roger mentioned." Vegeta's eyes lit up slightly. Among the participating Z fighters, except Buu and number 18, everyone else flew into the sky. Even Son Gohan, who had just been cured by Jabit, also rushed to the sky on number 18 and did not go. Wouldn't it be fragrant to stay and be the champion to get a bonus of 10 million yuan? I'm not going to join in the fun with you. Buu was also looking at the right drawing stage with a confused look, and he also had the flying Sun Wukong and others. For a while, Buu thought why not follow along and join in the fun? Or, to stay and turn everyone here into chocolate and eat. Buu seriously weighed it for a while, and felt that this place was closer to Roger, or it was too dangerous, so it was better to follow Sun Wukong and the others, run far away, and maybe be able to escape Luo Jie's control. Thinking of this, Buu flew into the sky, chasing Kaga in the direction of Sun Wukong and the others, but Roger didn't stop him. Buu quickly caught up with Kaiwangshan and Sun Wukong and others. In ancient times, when human beings began to walk on their feet, in the far side of the universe, there was a mage named Babidi. Kaiwangshan said solemnly, "One day, Babidi accidentally created a terrifying monster. It was a terrifying man named Buu." Buu, who had just caught up, just heard Kaiwangshan say this. Was he talking about me? Buu was stunned. "Fatty, are you here too?" Monkey King greeted him warmly, and Buu nodded with dark eyebrows. "You are fat. I'll turn you into chocolate later. You call me fat. Xiaopong, Lord Kaiwangshan is talking about and Buu, so listen carefully." Krillin greeted him kindly. Buu nodded, but he was guessing, wondering if he was out of Roger's control now. Not yet. As soon as Buu thought about it, he heard a voice ringing in his mind. Buu shivered with fright. Integrity. Buu has no emotion or reason, and is only annoyed to destroy and kill. It was a monster born to spread terror. Zhuang Shen continued, "In just a few years, hundreds of planets have become Death Stars. You don't have to be afraid, we will find a way to stop him." Krillin smiled. "You are a genius, remember in a second." Chapter 178 The Great Priest. How did he become the king of the realm? Krillin thought about it. After a while, it's better to find a place with no one to fix this fat man. Who will let you hit me if you don't have to? I just don't want to do it with you. Do you know that I'm very hurt to stop it? Buu snorted. Don't you know, Lao Su is Buu from Sake. Without emotion and reason. That's a good review. You idiots, if it wasn't for Roger, I would have given you the power of destroying the demon Buu long ago, which made Babidi feel difficult. Kaiwangshan continued to explain about Buu. I understand. So, as long as we find Buffety, the son of Master Guang, through those two people, we can find Buu's seal and let him continue to sleep. Sun Wukong smiled and said yes. Don't let Buu Suyun. If he really wakes up, then the universe is in danger. Kaiwangshan said solemnly. Buu sighed and rolled his eyes. What do you look like? I'm awake, okay. I'm right beside you 15. You don't know at all. Buu resists the urge to tell them who they are. Thinking about it carefully, Piccolo, who has concealed his identity in this way, is also very interesting, and Piccolo has a deep look at the Kaiwang god. Silent for a moment. Lord Kaiwangshan, I don't know if I should ask it, Piccolo said. But it doesn't matter. King God Shine nodded. Excuse me, the god of the gods, are you the highest existence? Piccolo asked nervously. God position. Why do you ask? The king god does not understand. Lord Kaiwangshan, please answer me. Vic didn't explain. Once the god of the earth, you are right to ask. Jabate took the words and said with a smile, you are right, Lord Kaiwangshan is indeed the highest god, the greatest god in the universe. Real. Piccolo is a little excited. Roger, are you not a god? Now here is a realm god, the greatest god in the universe. Don't you like the layout with those two women? How do you plan this time? Don't say that, Jabate, even though I have a high status, I still can't beat Boo. The king's divine sense. What? Even Lord Kaiwangshan is no match for Boo, Piccolo said solemnly. Boo's strength is beyond our imagination. Kaiwangshan nodded solemnly. Boo nodded vigorously, his nose stood up. Too bad no one saw. You should look over here. I am very strong. What is the king of gods? Believe it or not, I ate him into chocolate. Hey, Kaiwang god, right. Vegeta spoke suddenly, with a cold smile, I'll just ask you, who is stronger than you in the god of destruction? God of destruction, who is it? Xion is a little confused, I haven't heard of the god of destruction. Does such a god exist in the universe? You don't know. Vegeta's eyes widened. Cafeteria on the roof. Vados. How did he become the king of the realm? The great divine palace asked with a black face. In addition to the great realm god, there were 4 candidates for the east, west, north and south. The 3 realms of the west, south, and north were all killed by Boo. He is not really a real king god, the old king god was sealed by Master Beerus. Whis wiped his sweat and explained, Sir Big King God has fallen, and the old king god has been sealed. There is a fault in knowledge, and there are many things that the king of the eastern realm does not know. Give him a month, and after a month, if he still doesn't know what to do, let him go as far as he goes. All right, my father. Weiss nodded quickly. As the Kaiwang god, I don't want to protect life and create planets, but to go to the human world to try to save the universe is beyond my capabilities. The great priest is dissatisfied with the realm king god Sheen. The problem is that his strength is very strong, and it is not as strong as those of the Faya people. Vados interjected, and by the way drank a mug of beer. Vados, drink less, don't get drunk. Roger persuaded you to mind me. I'm a god, can I get drunk? Vados gave Roger a roll of eyes, but his face was crimson. The wine does not get drunk, the gods get drunk. Roger rode. Go, what's wrong? Vados pouted and snorted. The great priest suddenly got up. I have to go, you guys can play. The great priest said. Stop playing for a while. Roger asked. Do you think I'm so free with you? I want to deal with 12 universes. The great priest took a look at Roger, and you continued, but you are not allowed to gamble. Weiss and Vados hurriedly bowed to their promises. And, Vados, you're a little drunk. The great priest said to Rabados. Is there any? Vados was slightly taken aback. Drink less. The great priest told a good one. Vados readily agreed. The great priest said to go and left, and disappeared in a flash. It wasn't long before the grand priest left, but Vados took a sip of beer in secret. Sister-in-law, my father asked you to drink less. Weiss said. Yeah, I drank less, I used to drink a cup before. Vados smiled. 07, okay, whatever you want. Weiss shook his head, but was attracted by the delicious food, and continued to enjoy the 7th-class food. Knowing that the Earth has such delicious food, why go to the 6th universe? Roger glanced at Weiss. 9th-class food, I won't give you to eat first. Roger, do angels get drunk too? Bulma lowered her voice and whispered in Roger's ear that ordinary wine will be fine, but I added a little sap of the sacred tree in the wine you brewed. It's easy to get drunk if you drink too much. Roger with a slight smile. Bulma, you said, we, as angels, keep a clear head all day, and it's quite boring, isn't it? Well, sometimes, being drunk is also a kind of happiness. Bulma nodded, and I've never heard of the god of destruction. Jabit shook his head. Vegeta, is that a god you made up? Vegeta, the bad god. How can I vaguely remember that Frieza seemed to want to use the dragon to awaken the god of destruction? Sun Wukong scratched his head, thoughtfully. Frieza, you are so naive. Jabate smiled lightly. I can't say about other people, it's a guy like Frieza. Lord Kaiwangjin can solve the problem with one hand, what's so great? I can also easily take out Frieza now. Vegeta snorted and I killed Frieza. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 179 Vados is drunk. So why didn't Lord Zunji Wangshan help destroy Frieza in the first place? Krillin asked Frieza. Although Frieza has done a lot of bad things, he only focuses on conquering planets. Compared with Majin Buu, if the evil degree of human Buu is compared to 10, Frieza can be considered at most 1. Jabit smiled and explained, for the sake of a shot with an evil level of only 1, it doesn't conform to the rules of Keicho. Jabit, the direction of our discussion is a bit off. Kaiwan God Zion coughed and smiled bitterly. After saying this, why did it drift to early land? Vegeta shook her head helplessly. Is this guy really a kaiju god? He doesn't even know the god of destruction. This realm god can't be fake, right? I'm afraid he doesn't even know angels, does he? Hey, do you know angels? Vegeta asked Kaioshin angels again. The ones with wings on their backs. Kaiohami smiled slightly. Myths on Earth, right? Vegeta stopped talking. You are so special. Are you the king of God? You don't even know angels. Distant heaven. King of the North. Is that kid really the king of gods? You haven't even heard of God of Destruction. I know God of Destruction. I don't tell you, you don't blame me, do you? Well, I don't know about God of Destruction either. You say that you are the Realm King and you don't even know the God of Destruction. I'm a little Realm King. I say I know. You won't be very embarrassed, right? In the future, you won't deliberately find fault, will you? The Realm King thought about it. It seems that there is such a possibility. Be dumb. I don't know God of Destruction. I've never heard of God of Destruction. The king of the Northern Realm began to hypnotize himself to forget the God of Destruction. It's just that the king of the Northern Realm doesn't know, the angel that Vegeta said. What kind of god is that? Is that Roger? Roger is an angel. I don't understand. Forget it, it doesn't matter. They landed. We also hurry to hide our loyalty. Zhuang Shen greeted Dao Dang, and the king god brought Sun Wukong and others down from the sky and landed on the mountain in front. Look far away. Sibu Bichi and Yamu have already landed on a place with the Lord God of the Elevation Realm, and the ground there is a little loose. Vic pointed to the ground in the distance. It was dug up, and there was a giant inside. Got it. Buffy must have hid the spaceship on the ground and Sheen gritted his teeth. No wonder they couldn't find their location. While speaking, the lift door in the distance opened. Buffy, Di and Dapra walked out slowly from inside. What? With Realm King Dapra. Realm King God's face changed color and he lost his voice. The tall guy with the red lids. Sun Wukong asked. Yes. Jia Wangshen nodded and said solemnly, I admit that in the human realm, you may be the most powerful beings, but in the shaman realm, the most powerful person is this king of the Sha realm. My face is starting to sweat. So, that short guy is Buffy D. Can he even control such a powerful person? Sun Wukong asked. That's not true, he can control evil people. Kai Wangshen replied, this is bad, if Dapra is here, we can. Do you think we are bound to lose? Vegeta snorted coldly, and the god of the realm gave Vegeta a look. What do you know? Don't you know how powerful they are? At this time, only Dapra was left outside. The corner of Dapra's mouth also evoked an evil arc, and it was not good to look here. He found us. Vegeta warned loudly. Dapra's speed is extremely fast, but in a flash, Dapra has already appeared beside Jabbit, aiming his hand at Jabbit's head, and can emerge. With a loud bang, Jabbit's head was bombed into slag by Dapra at that time. Jabbit fell to the ground, dead. Pooh, pooh, pooh. Dapra was in the air and spit out 3 saliva in a row. Snapped, snapped, yo. Piccolo, Krillin and Boo are unfortunate. Careful, don't be touched by his saliva. Otherwise it will be petrified. The King of Kings shouted to Krillin. You didn't say so sooner. During the conversation, Piccolo and Krillin quickly turned into a cafeteria with a stone roof. The servant of the Realm King was killed just like that. Weiss covered his face, unable to look any further. Bro, your entourage of the realm gods in the universe is too stupid, right? Vados blushed, haha laughing. Sister, you've been drinking too much. Weiss, head froze for a while. And I'm fine. I'm an angel, can I drink more? Vados closed his eyes, turned his head and asked Roger, you mean it? I didn't drink too much, did I? It's a bit too much to drink. Roger advised. Your dad me. Vados is not happy, isn't he just drinking you a little beer? What's the big deal? Don't be stingy, I lost my scepter to you, I haven't said anything yet. Okay, just drink as much as you want. Roger nodded. Roger, you say, am I beautiful or my sister Russ is beautiful? Vados got up and leaned in front of Roger, sighing bitterly, and asked with a smile. You are beautiful, but I think it would look better if your skin tone changed. Roger pondered that Vados had changed his body at that time, changed his skin color. Is that so? Asked Vados. It looks better now. Roger nodded in praise, and said with a smile, I suddenly found out that watching you is much more interesting than watching the game. Weiss covered his eyes. Or, take Noli's sister back. Father knew that Myers wouldn't be beaten again, right? You are not my opponent, hurry back, ha 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 ha. Dapra laughed wildly, turned and flew away. Piccolo, Krillin, Sun Wukong was also shocked, and hurriedly flew to Piccolo's side. Don't touch him. If it is damaged, it will be difficult to recover. You mean it can be recovered? Sun Wukong was stunned and asked. Yes, the only way is. Kill Dakura. The king of the world is just so simplistic. Sun Wukong thought it would be too much trouble. Hey, why is this guy okay? LaRose pointed to Boo and everyone quickly looked at Boo. Boo was so angry that a white gas came out of his head. The red-faced guy, how dare you spit at me? I'll turn you into chocolate in a moment. You wait for me. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 180 God of Destruction Candidate. Who is suitable? It's a little strange that the king of the world finds that Boo is fine. Let's go, there's not much more sound, let's go beat them now. As Sun Wukong said, he flew quickly in the direction of the spaceship. Wait a moment, I always thought it was a conspiracy. Jia Wangshen said in a deep voice, Sun Wukong, but they didn't mean to wait. Soon, Sun Wukong and the others landed Little Fatty at the entrance of the spaceship. You are much more powerful than I thought. Sun Wukong gave Boo a friendly smile and Boo rolled his eyes. Why don't you call me chubby again? Just when Sun Wukong was about to destroy the entrance opened automatically. It's great, let's go down. Sun Wukong said, and flew down first. Vegeta, Labangs, Sun Gohan, and Xiaopong fell one after another, and Kai Wangshen had no choice but to follow behind. You are so messed up, once we are in this spaceship, it will be troublesome to get out. Kaiwang God breathed, I think, Buffy D must have used some kind of method in the spaceship, for example, if we want to force it out, it will definitely wake Boo. HMPH, if it really doesn't work, I'll blow up such a spaceship and we can go out, right? Vegeta smiled lightly, also, the Boo you said is not the level of Dapra's kind of stuff, right? That kind of stuff up to 210 Pula. Kai Wangshen couldn't help falling into a cold sweat. This guy Vegeta can't dance Dapla. Gorilla said, his strength is far more than Dapra. Boo is gnashing his teeth aside. You're talking about the people of Benchia like that idiot Dapra. Aren't you called Bay Gun Gun? I'll get out of here in a while. Crunch. At this moment, the hatch opened, and the fake Pei came out. Pepe is an alien found by Buffy from outer space. He is relatively powerful. Hello, to put it simply, this is Mr. Buffy. The spaceship has 4 floors in total. Mr. Buffety is on the bottom floor. There are people on each floor. It is very simple. Just defeat the guards on each floor and you can enter the next floor. In addition, in this spaceship, if injured, the energy will be lost, providing the seal to Lord Boo, and allowing Lord Boo to revive earlier. Pepe said with a smile, however, I'm afraid you won't have this chance. You are sure to die on this floor. Boo was too lazy to talk to Pepe so much nonsense, so he flew up and kicked Pepe on the head. Before Pepe could react, he flew upside down, hitting the bulkhead heavily, shaking the entire spacecraft. Shaking. On the right, Pepe has chewed his fart. Everyone was dumbfounded and was kicked to death. Ha ha ha, Xiaopong is really not simple. Sun Wukong was surprised. I don't know where Bulma got the bodyguard from. You are so messed up, take it easy next time. Kai Wangshan was stunned for a moment, and told Boo, you're using too much energy, and the spaceship will vibrate violently, and Boo will wake up. Boo snorted. I'm awake, don't you know? Kai Wangshan never expected that the chubby in front of him is a drama. Although Kai Wangshan thinks this chubby aura is very strange, he did not think about him at all on Boo. Spaceship number 4. Buffy D watched everything that happened at the scene through the crystal ball. Who is that fat man? How is it so powerful? Buffety is a little shocked. Mr. Buffety. Don't worry, the level of Pena goods is too bad. Let the beasts guard the 2nd floor. If it doesn't work, I will play on the 3rd floor myself. Look how much energy those 2 idiots have collected. Buffety said, plugging the energy absorbed by Speech and Yamu into the instrument. The scale of the instrument panel turned clockwise and turned more than halfway. Buffety's eyes widened in shock. How much BFFG, human energy did they both absorb? Buffy Dee doesn't know, the boys replied. Damn, I wouldn't have killed them if I knew it earlier. Buffy bared his teeth, clenched his fists and was relieved, and when he went to the 2nd floor, he could still absorb all their energy. Dapper looked indifferent, but then again, this fat man got my saliva, why didn't he turn into stone? You ask me, who do I ask? Buffy D stares, the world's first martial arts conference, the self-service hall on the roof. The game is gone, only the Kai Wangshan and the others are left. Are we still watching? Otherwise, don't waste the realm of the true gods or taste more delicious food. Weiss proposed. Weiss, what do you think of the quality of these guys? Roger asked about the combat level. Weiss pondered, it's normal, at least I don't like it. In principle, the General Apprentice Angel can choose 2 human beings in the universe where he is interned to go to the new universe to be the evil god and the king god. Roger sighed, you said that their strength is so poor, who should I choose? How about it? The strength is poor, and the fighting level is average. It can be cultivated. You don't have to worry about it, Roger. Weiss smiled, and then turned to the Sun Wukong in the projection, but I heard, Roger, you plan to do it in 3 years. After that, let Sun Wukong and Jiren of the 10th universe be the best. Weiss shook his head and said no more. Weiss can see that although the current Monkey King is a lot stronger than in the Frieza period, he is still far worse than Jiren. You should have sent Bardock to fight Jiren. Weiss smiled slightly and they weren't happy. Roger shook his head. However, Bardock seems to have reached the limit. Weiss took a deep look at Bardock. Roger replied, actually, I called you and Bardos over this time because I wanted you to help me choose the God of Destruction candidates. Roger said, and glanced in the direction of Vados. Vados has been drinking too much, and his eyes are a little high. Hey, don't come here. Vados pointed at Roger and said, isn't your bad god candidate far better? It's that guy Vegeta, didn't you give him the gloves made from Whis' scepter last time? I always feel that Bei Gun Gun is not suitable. He often disappoints me. I plan to replace it. Roger, smile as you like. Vados shook his head, lying on the table. Destroyer God candidate. Weiss was stunned for a moment, and he looked at them one by one, shaking his head. Vegeta is the most suitable, and Sun Wukong's character should not be suitable for being the god of destruction. But then again, his brother's personality shouldn't be a problem, but unfortunately his strength is too low. You are a genius, remember in a second.